Saddle up, saddle up, saddle up, saddle up. Yeah, one of my favorite tracks rolling in the background there. Yeah, the Paragons, I believe. Yeah, beautiful tune. Just enjoy it for a little while, shall we? Bring me back to my teenage days. Yeah, rolling in the old shabines. Yeah, down at the old Brixton town. Safrana B, Neville Enchanter. Yeah, Shepherds. Remember that? And all of the Rebel Naya. Rebel Naya, yeah. Big up all the Rebel them, young and old. Yes, no, just indulging me in this, we call, what's it called? The name for it. Go down memory lane, is it? Yeah, how you doing, how you doing, how you doing? Let me say Hetty Poo and welcome. Yeah, just checking out. Hope everything's cushy, hope everything's working out for you. I hope you're realizing your destiny. Yeah, you're here. Okay, right on. Let me say welcome and head tea poo to all of the Genesis family out there. How you doing? It's a privilege and pleasure for me to be here with you once again to share ideas and concepts along the lines that the Creator intended us to be. It's that time of afternoon again, and I hope everything's found you in a good spirit, good stead, and that you are realizing all your aims and goals and dreams. Otherwise, what would life be if we couldn't realize our goals, you know? And I think sometimes we're stuck into the mode of where we're just, it's my opinion, of course, and what's my opinion in any case? It's not about my opinion. You know the old adage, opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one, pardon my French. And so that's what we're here to do. We're here to share opinions and listen to people's idea and allow people to exhale a bit and and come into communion with each other so we can get used to each other and see where the heartbeat is. Sometimes see where the pulse is, rather. In a patient, if you cannot find the pulse, you assume the patient's dead. So we're here trying to find the pulse of the community through the People's Talk Show, and your host Heru alongside Nevaeh here, so we can share ideas and concepts, and we can listen to each other, and we can have a meaningful discussion. And I know that sometimes the spirits gets high and people tend to get really emotional about things, especially if it's a emotive subject, and that's okay, as long as it's done within respect and no one's disrespecting each other. Everything will be cushy, isn't it? And we have a meaningful discussion. Who knows what can come out of good discussions, and at least, if anything, you'll know where you are, and you know where you're going. You're not boxing blind, so to speak, because it's a serious thing when you're boxing blind. It just can't work, innit? You don't know your opponent. You got to see your opponent, and when you see your opponent, it's hoped by then you would have studied him. You would have studied his form and his capabilities and his incapabilities. And so by doing that, we can then have a good go, and may the best man win. So we're in the throes of things, just testing numbers. Let me see whether I've got this thing hooked up. I don't want to start right on. Okay, so that's there. One sec, folks. Alright. Yeah, I've just hooked up hooked up the phone lines there. And I know, what happened there? Come on. And so, sounds like we're ready to roll. Let me give you the hotline numbers now, so you have them ready. The numbers are 0779. Nothing.
No, my friend's saying can't be reached, and when I tap on the reason, it says IP can't be reached. But I've messaged my daughter and I've asked her to see if she can tune in.
All right, let's hang on a little while and see what's happening. Yeah?
The race is not for the people who can endure. And now it's to the end. Now come here with your
Two. Yeah. Mic check. How you doing? Just getting a check and see how we'll be broadcasting on www.genesis.co.uk. People's Talk Show alongside Heru and Nevaeh. Just trying to get some feedback, whether you can pick us up or not. Yeah. You know, as we go along, we don't want to be talking to ourselves there now, do we? So I want to make sure that you're picking us up loud and clear, like we're picking up ourselves in the studio loud and clear, but we want to know that you're picking us up loud and clear. And so, if you will, can you just give me a one call, one drop, or a text on 0779 542 9449, and I repeat 0779 542 9449 is for the calls. You can also text in on that number as well. Just give us a little one drop or text to see how you're coming over. Yeah, so what can I say? I hope it's been a successful day. No?
She just started checking it now.
Okay.
She's while she's on the phone.
Right on. So, as we said, we're just trying to pick up on certain things and make sure that we're not talking to ourselves here. Yeah, you know, I don't want to end up down Maudsley. You just can't send a straight jacket here, you know. It's good to talk to yourself sometimes, but it's when you begin to answer yourself, that's the problem, you know what I mean?
No, it's not.
Talking
you've got
to...
be able to make the decision by talking to your lights on.
My light, phone light. That's why it's damn...
Yeah, she can hear. They're loud and clear.
Right on. So we know we're broadcasting. Welcome. I want to say welcome to Nevaeh alongside me here today, my
She said, did you tell everybody I was checking? I'm sorry, baby. Sorry. My beautiful daughter, Chappelle, was just checking everything.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, good. We need people like that. Family outside to make sure we're not, you know, loo-lally. And so, how you doing? Welcome. Yeah, let's check your mic. Is that okay?
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone had a blessed week, and if you didn't, you know, it can only get better.
It's murder in here, isn't it?
It is, isn't it?
Oh man,
Why you got your shades on? Sun's bright.
My future's bright. I gotta wear shades.
I don't know what future you can see through them glasses.
What about future?
Look how dark they
It's
are.
hiding in the.
I don't know who you're hiding.
I said to you, should I remove? He said no. It's okay.
I didn't say you don't have to hide. You don't have to remove your glasses. If you
Okay.
want to hide from me, you can hide from me.
Well,
I'm not
from
still.
you know, I might have to take
You
them
know.
off, make me sweat
Oh,
anyway.
you don't want me to see your eyes flashing in here.
God. Yeah, this one. How you doing, folks? As Nevaeh said, it's been successful week. And then he said strong. Well, that's a bit silly argument, and it's strong and weak. Getting confused here.
Put your glasses back.
Words are cheap to a penny. And so, what's new? What's going down?
I was going to say,
Don't say it.
Don't say it.
I wouldn't do that. Yeah. So what's happening?
With who?
You.
With me?
What's
well,
new?
do you know what?
Got a new tattoo or something?
No, I ain't got no new tattoos. They're all old. They're all old.
Okay.
This is myself and my two daughters. We all have the identical tattoo.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a girlfriend, because I've only got two daughters, you see. So we've all got, that's our little clique. But I've got some fantastic news. You have so many people out there that talk about children from single mothers and blah, 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 blah. Well, I've been on my own for like a good 10 years now. So, yeah, I'm a single mother. And
that's deliberate, folks. So.
Yeah, it's deliberate. I
Thank you.
choose to be
Don't
single.
make it like
Okay.
we're trying to avoid you like the
No,
plague.
no. My
Okay.
partner got deported about just over 10 years ago, and I've been on my own ever since. So it's not one of those things.
She's still in mourning, folks.
But mourning. Who can mourn over a man, please? Anyway, with my fantastic news, which I'd like to share with the world, proud mother that I am.
Oh, I saw that.
My son passed all his tests. He got the highest score is 120, the lowest is 80, and he scored 106, 107, and 109, and he got good and excellent in all the rest. I'm proud.
Funny.
very proud.
Isn't it weird? That's the topic I was going to host today.
What, my son?
Education. No, but education. There's you saying how proud you are
I am.
about your son and education. This is what I
the
want
thing
to find out.
But see, this is
This
where
is
you
where
were
I say-
saying, when I was saying to you about education, it depends on the child.
Well. See, what about the stuff that he's been educated with? I mean, this is where I'm talking. Not really the child's ability to learn, but it's the curriculum and the programs that they have out there. What would you say about it? You sound quite happy about that.
With this particular child,
yeah,
extremely, because it wasn't like that with the others.
Yeah, but you didn't say whether the stuff that he learnt was
Beneficial.
not even beneficial. But
Okay.
what's your opinion on the stuff that he learnt?
What's my opinion? My opinion is
proud of his ability.
this. Do you know why I'm proud of his ability?
Yeah, it's cool.
Because when it comes to education in this country, and youngsters, young adults and adults, because remember, they've got adult education as well. Like I was saying to you earlier, I believe education isn't just about who's teaching it, it's about who's learning. If you don't have that attitude that you want to learn, or you don't have somebody to push you when you're having, because come on, the same way we wake up as adults and we have our off days, kids wake up and they just don't, sometimes they just can't be bothered, they don't want to learn. With my son, I'll be honest, he's what, 11, so the first number of years in school, he's good. He's never really been one to sway away from education, but he's never been one to, put his effort in. And this is the thing, this is why I'm proud, because he's passed it with lack of effort. And why I say lack of effort is because when we talk about educating the kids and what they're learning, every teacher teaches differently. And I think this is where part of the issue is. If the teacher is doing the job because they just want the money, your child's not going to get the best.
But before we enter into those things,
Yeah.
those are the outgrowth of the thing. But I'm still, before we arrive there,
Yeah.
I'm just reflecting on what you said. You had great
Yeah, I'm very
news
proud,
and
but like,
no. But my thing is,
Yeah.
I want to know the value of the education that he's taken in.
For my son,
see what
I
I mean?
believe it's very vast. But the difference is, I didn't just leave the school to educate my son.
No. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking
Part
about
of
that.
it is...
I'm not talking
No,
about
but
that.
what I mean
I'm
is...
talking about the curriculum, the value of the curriculum that he learnt, that he was
but
so
you're not
proud.
listening. This is what I'm saying. He didn't learn just by curriculum. During the last set of holidays, I had him...
Yeah, but he didn't pass on your program.
Actually, he
passed.
did. Let me tell you why.
No, hold on. No.
Yeah, go on.
Before we go into that, I'm not doubting your ability or your child's ability to learn. What I want to know is the education that he got from school. Are you satisfied with it?
No.
Why is that now?
Because, for example, when they were doing practice lessons at school, the practice lessons were based on the kind of things they would be learning. There was one particular part, my son knew it, but he didn't realise, because I'm not a parent to do it for him. So basically what happened, the teacher said, if there's a thing called Class Dojo, where you can directly message the teacher, and his teacher said, if any of the children have any issues with any part of the homework is based on the kind of things we'll be doing. Just message me and let me know. Well, this particular part of the homework he had, because it's all computer based, he just couldn't get his head around it. And he gave up. And I'm not intervening. And he gave up because I thought, you know what? Because the teacher may teach in a different method. Yeah. So what happened was, I messaged the teacher and she said, okay, brilliant, we'll deal with this first thing Monday morning. The following Friday, I said, son, has your teacher covered that area yet? He said, no. I said, okay. And then I sat down with him. And the thing is, if you don't, this is why, before you interrupted me, what I was saying about the teachers teaching, it's okay having the curriculum, but if you have a teacher that is not, all right, the curriculum's not, I think some of the things that they do is irrelevant, but if you haven't got a teacher that's prepared to put that effort in full-heartedly and follow the curriculum.
So it's not the curriculum, it's the teacher. This is what I'm saying to you.
Well, yeah.
So are you satisfied with the curriculum?
Well, to be quite honest, I've never followed the curriculum, so I couldn't tell you.
So you don't know whether the...
I thought that was alright.
So you don't know whether the curriculum was relevant. You don't know the nature. Yet you sat with him and you didn't, and you saw the curriculum there, the nature of it.
Okay.
What did you not? Think about it. It's irrelevant to your child.
No,
but you couldn't change it.
No, do you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I thought I knew the curriculum, but what happened when he had his lessons? He went to school, and when he went to school, and the teacher was saying, "Oh my gosh," because he only had lessons in maths, because that was where his weak point was, and it was like, "Oh my gosh, he's exhaled so much, he's doing so well." I was like, "Thank you," but I didn't tell the teacher that he'd been having lessons. So I said, "Son," he said, "Yeah." I said, "So how does it feel? You must be like, you can do all the work." He said, "Mum, we ain't even touched on it yet." I said, "What do you mean you haven't touched on it yet?" He said, "Mum, we haven't even started that." I was like, "What do you mean you haven't started it? Like, that is supposed to be your average age level. It's not higher than your level. It's meant to be your age level." He said, "Mum, we haven't started it. We haven't done any of it." So obviously the curriculum must have changed from my last child, because all of those things my last child learnt. But I will say this, actually, my daughter actually said to me, we didn't do algebra until we reached secondary school, 13, 14. So
what's your expectation of the system, of the educational system? What's your expectation?
My expectations? What do I expect them to do?
Did it meet your expectations?
No.
Why didn't it?
Well, what do you mean, why didn't it?
Why didn't the curriculum... So it's the...
I believe it's based on...
they were teaching your child, was it?
No, I don't think it's enough. The reason I don't think it's enough is because, one, every child learns... They set one curriculum for everybody, yeah? As they say, every child learns at different levels, yeah? So if you're following that guideline, it's an age-set guideline. What about those children who are more advanced? What about those children who are less advanced?
They've got provisions for those because they put them
No, but the provisions aren't sufficient. And why I said the provisions aren't sufficient, my son has a friend. I wouldn't say he doesn't do the best friend thing, but he says it's one of his good friends. And I saw... They had a sleepover at school on Friday, like, obviously, because they were leaving. And I said to him, "Oh, how did so-and-so do in the exams?" And all of a sudden, the test. All of a sudden, the conversation is like, I'm talking to myself. So I'm like looking around and I was thinking, okay, have I touched? Because obviously I'm happy, my son, like, I'm really happy, I'm excited to spread the news. And then she said, well, no, he didn't do very well at all. He done absolutely worse than what I thought he would. And he had additional lessons. So the support, obviously, the support that they're putting in place this is the thing. They're teaching everybody at the same speed. They put them on set tables. They're supposed to be following the same curriculum, but they put them at set tables in regards to their abilities. But the thing is, when you have a child that isn't working at the same stage as the next table, you can't. Do you understand? It's like a different stage.
Those child who are more advanced in learning, they put them in different classes. I know they do.
No,
that.
they don't.
Well, they used to do that back in the day.
Are you talking about primary school or secondary school?
No, secondary school. I mean,
we're talking about primary school here.
Hold on. Yeah, primary school. You're talking about primary school.
Yeah, you haven't reached secondary school.
Right.
Yet.
So the primary school curriculum for children and they usually pick out the ones who are more advanced and deal with them differently. I know that for a fact.
No. Where my son is educated, it's about favouritism.
Well, this is what I'm saying. So, therefore, as far as you're concerned, it's favouritism. So, in what way is it favouritism?
Because a child that could hardly read and write is put to work with a child that ability is different. And the thing about it is, yes, it aids the child who needs help, but then it slows down the child that doesn't.
But that's the school's curriculum, school's method, isn't it, or school's rules. I mean, if they can't, I know all schools.
Yeah, but
I
you
mean,
don't know.
our schools is not run like that, because I definitely know that.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying to you, Heru.
So-
it's about each individual teacher.
Right. So, but then I'm still looking at the curriculum, what they're teaching, the material. I mean, is it what people say? Is it education? Is it? Are you satisfied with the material? What do you think about the material that's being taught? Or what is your child being taught differently from what you've been taught when you were younger? I mean, was
I'll
your
be honest
education
with you.
basic education?
I think they're taught less.
So let's look at it on a whole. Western education. What do you think about it on a whole? Because I hear a lot of little secondary voices talking about education being brainwashed, and we've been set up to fail.
Okay.
And so I really want to not just to skip over that, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Because there's a tendency just to accept the wording.
Okay, well...
linked with other things like culture,
understand.
colour, you know what I mean?
He's not... he starts secondary school in September, but like my other kids have been through secondary school. And the thing is... the truth is, sometimes they don't get a chance to follow that guideline, because the problem is that there's too much, like I said to you, is partly based upon the teacher, the educator. When we're talking about the curriculum, when you've got a class and you've got noisy children, they're like, oh, the children can't learn. This is the reason the children can't learn, because, so-and-so is disruptive or so-and-so isn't. As a whole, I can't say the curriculum is all bad, because all my kids, they came out with good marks. My two eldest sons, second child and fourth child, have learning difficulties. And the way it was dealt with, one is nearly 10 years age difference from the other. With the eldest one, I had to really go gun-ho, to get them to look into his education, because that attitude was, oh, he's only wrote one line. And I'm like, well, why has he only wrote one line? Obviously, there's a reason behind it, because I know how he is at home. Why are you not looking into the ability? He was 13 before they, sent him for testing.
Yeah.
The next one, as he hit...
Did you put it down to the failure of the curriculum?
Yes and no, because like I said to you, because no matter, even if they've got learning difficulties, they've still got to follow the same curriculum. But the problem is, they're given that extra time in their exams, but they're not given enough extra tutoring to bring them up.
Well, let's hear it from anyone out there. If you agree, I mean, basically, if I've never known a school not to recognise people's abilities and lump them all together.
Well, it has been a long time for you, love.
Yeah, well, still, I mean, that's an issue that you could have taken up with the school governors, yeah?
Who told you I didn't take it up?
That's right.
But there's steps before you get to school governors.
Right, so as far as you're concerned, that particular...
Oh, no, I took my own steps. I went to outside bodies and had it dealt with that way.
And what was the result of that?
With my eldest son, I wanted him to have an education psychology review, which they did, but I had to go outside the school. With my other son, he was statemented at primary school, because I picked up on his learning difficulties and said, look, this is what I believe is wrong with him. I believe he's dyslexic. Please, can you just observe him? They did. They sent someone in every 6 months, and they said he's dyslexic, and his speed process is very slow. So he went through the whole of primary school, having support, borderline straight with the curriculum, as you put it. Then when he hit secondary school, this is where the problem started, because the secondary school was saying, well, there's nothing wrong with him. He's fine. I've got it I have it in paper, black and white. No. We debated for about... I didn't even have time to go there. I just took it straight from when basically the SEN coordinator was, when they try and be friendly and whatever, and she was talking and she was saying, oh, she just got a car. I said, okay. I said, really? That's nice. So she said, yeah. She said, you drive? I said, yeah, I just got a car. I got it quite cheap, actually. I didn't tell her I went far to get it, and that's why I got it cheap. So she said, I said, but my son's friend repaired it because he's got friends at mechanics. So she said, really? I said, yeah. She said, oh, shame you don't know a good housing officer. I looked at her and I said, pardon? She said, good job you don't, I said, look, first of all, I don't know where you think I live. Yeah? I don't live on an estate, if that's what you're assuming. I don't live in a flat, if that's what you're assuming. I have very stable children at home. Okay? I said, anyway, we didn't come here for this. And I left the room and I went straight downstairs, made an appointment to see the head, told the head exactly what was going on, because how dare she, like, I bet you wish you knew a good housing officer. Regardless whether I live in a house or the gutter, that's got nothing to do with my son's education. Do you understand? So then I just went to outside bodies and stepped in. They redone all these tests and everything, and then the school's attitude was, oh, we have...
Okay, you're live on Genesis.
Hello.
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I just found to say something very quickly and come off very quick.
Yeah.
And what I found to say is, in relation to mathematics, my son is very advanced in mathematics. And he's so advanced that he teaches of age.
You're going in and out.
He helps other children learn maths in his classroom. The teacher's he's very advanced.
Yeah.
And what he said at the age of 10 is he wanted to become an accountant.
Oh, very
And
good.
that's what I found. The reason why I found is because I clicked on the Genesis site. So I've got a bookmarks, and it said this site is experiencing difficulties.
Yeah, that's what I said to you.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
yeah, and then I clicked on having an app or some sort of thing that's got another sort of bookmark. The bookmark is like a round blue thing with Genesis written. I clicked on that and I come on the site.
Really? But why didn't you go? You could have gone straight through to Google.
No, he said it didn't work.
Well, your Google didn't work.
No, it's the same. Remember I said to you that it was saying that the site, you can't access the site.
Yeah, well, whenever I go onto Google and do www.genesisradio.co.uk, then I choose listen live.
Yes, but...
I'll scroll it.
I'm listening live
he's
now. When I first clicked on when it said listen live,
Yeah.
the bookmark said listen live.
Yeah.
It said, I've never seen this ever. I've been listening to Genesis for over 20 years.
Yeah.
It's never ever said that.
I know,
It
well...
said, this site is experiencing difficulties.
Which is the same thing it said when I went on
So
Google.
technical difficulties.
Oh, the site itself,
I
yeah.
come across it, I couldn't get on the site.
Oh, yeah, well, that's the site then. It's the site's...
And then I felt as if it's impossible. My first thing that comes to my head is that it's going to be impossible to get on the site.
Okay.
So I tried another method and I was able to get on there. I was like, a lot of people might try here and get the sign saying this web page is being difficulties.
Yeah, I suspect that,
They
yeah.
try again either.
Yeah, well...
I said, there's no way you can get on it.
Yeah,
'cause
yeah.
most people wouldn't have tried
Yeah,
it.
well, probably that's what's happening, because it's not us, it's the site itself having difficulties. So we just hope that they...
But as I said, I'm right now, the normal site, and I'm listening.
Yeah, I hope people do the same thing. You know what I mean?
I'll guarantee a lot of people ain't listening because of what I experienced. They've experienced the
Yeah,
same thing.
that could be the thing. Let's hope they do what you do, innit? Just hope that they can, decide to try another route. You see what I'm saying?
And if they don't, you've got us all to yourself.
Yeah, if you don't, we're just us and you then, innit, mate?
Well, I'm just going to show, I'll concentrate as the show goes along.
Enough respect, G.
Thank
Bless
you.
up.
Big up, sister, bro. Big up.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Respect.
you.
Yeah, wow. I'm so sorry if we experiencing difficulties. Not us, it's the site, as G said, and we want to hope people persevere and try and work it round and get to another method. Because usually when I can't get through one way, I go another way.
I don't. When I usually can't get through, I just put the phone down and do my thing.
No way, mate. If I want to listen to a thing, brethren, I'll try all sorts. I ain't giving up. I'm like that. I'm a bull in a china shop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Bull.
Baka.
Bull. Anyway, people.
Don't pick ankara.
The number is 0779 542
Yeah.
9449.
One more time.
0779 542 9449. 449, and that's for calls
and
and
texts.
texts.
So
Please.
so far in the discussion, what I was trying to establish was the value, the validity, not of the ability of the pupil or the parents to allow the child, create the child, more, concentrated, whatever necessary characteristic they need to learn. It's not about the individual or the pupil, not even the teacher.
But it is.
I know, but I'm not really coming from the angle at the moment, because what the angle I'm coming from is the value of the education that your child receives.
Well, any form of education is valuable.
Oh, but then from what I hear, and the little dissenting voices in the community, that probably can influence other people as well.
No, but you know what? You see, when you have
let me
these...
finish first. I heard these dissenting voices that's saying that this is a brainwashed education. This is a Babylon education, and it's miseducating us.
Yeah, and that's probably the same people that say bun this and bun
yeah,
that.
but do you believe? I mean, can you?
No.
Do you adhere to that?
No, this is what I say to that, and people will probably. Well, I'm used to being slaughtered anyway. Yeah, but this is what I say to that.
They're glutton for punishment. Huh?
I don't really care, because this is the way I look at it. Yeah. I believe that's an ignorant thing to say. And the reason why I think that's an ignorant thing to say is, at the end of the day, don't be telling everybody about the system is this, the system is that. Stand up for your child. Stand up for your child's rights. Be heard. Do you understand? Don't sit on the chair and complain about it and not step up and be prepared to do anything.
But would you
about
advise your children that this is such an education? I mean,
no, I don't. Do you know what? I've got 5 kids. The last one, he's 11, turning 12, and... to be honest with you, I don't think it's a brainwashing. I think that's a load of poppycock.
That's what I'm saying. This is why I ask you about the material. I mean, all right, what I'm saying to you, do you think that the material your child learns, is it miseducating them in any kind of way?
No. The only
is it
thing...
preparing them for the outside world, do you think?
I think, basically, in primary school... They don't educate them for the outside world. They prepare them and adapt them to move on to the next stage of learning.
Are you quite happy with that?
Well, to be quite honest, I have to say it's kind of borderline.
Because we can always talk about the material coming in now.
Because we're not talking about... If you're talking about education...
That's what I'm saying.
Yes. If we're talking about...
cultural, socialising.
Yeah, then I would say no. If you're talking about socialising, no.
Do you expect your children to be socialised?
By the school?
No. Do you socialise your children? What do you make them to be? Rebels, Bandang Babylon? Or are you going to make them to be like, what do you call them people there? Militant people.
Let me tell you, my kids tell me I'm very militant.
Hold on, but there's a name for it. Activists.
No, I'm not time for them to.
No, so there's I'm
a true believer.
Education. Are we to educate our children to become activists? Or
I believe,
do you see them to compete effectively in society? To even, I mean, what if you don't value society do you see where your child can, through education, make a headway in life?
Well, yeah, because my child is a child who is... Oh, you want to look?
Yeah.
My child is a child who likes to learn.
Yeah, but do you think what he's going to be learning? What do you think about that? What do you think about what
he hasn't reached secondary school yet, so I couldn't tell you what he's about to learn.
Well, this is what I'm saying, but they've got this LGBT thing that's in primary schools now, teaching... You see what I'm saying? I can understand people...
What do you mean, teaching?
Teaching homosexuality. At the age of 3.
They don't teach you about homosexuality.
They do.
Not at my son's school. They haven't at my son's school.
But other schools have experienced that.
That's what I was going to say.
What I'm saying? So if it was at your school, what would you do?
If it was at my school,
if it was at
my school,
that was happening.
Well, when my son goes to school, he's also in my grandson.
Primary school.
I'm talking about primary school and secondary school. Yeah. When my son goes to school, my grandson also goes to school. One of my grandsons, and at that school, they inform all parents of what they're going to teach, and it says if there are any concerns or you object or you want to withdraw your child, you're allowed. Yeah, of course you can. At primary school, yeah.
One that you're
at secondary school, I have a friend. Last year, we actually had a bit of a debate. His child goes to a performing arts school, and basically part of their their exam was to do a presentation. Lo and behold, we're talking about a Jamaican here, you know. Lo and behold, the presentation was LGBT.
How old was the child?
15. Well, hear what he said. When he phoned me, he said, you know what? And then he started telling me. I said, okay. But I'm trying to fight his daughter's corner in the sense of, we're talking about her education here. Without this, you can't have a pass. Yeah?
What's that again?
Without doing the presentation, because it's a group presentation,
right.
She can't pass. Do you understand? She has to, even if she doesn't talk about it, she still needs to do her bit. Yeah? No, sir. You think in Jamaica they could contest about batty boy? I said, look, it's education. It's just about education. And he was not having it. No, I'm not into that, all that nonsense, all that chichi this and chichi that. And he telling me about, oh, you know, but you Europeanized people. No, it's not about you Europeanized people. I'm saying to him, look, I understand and I respect your views because everybody parents differently. But do you understand that she may fail because she hasn't taken,
right.
But I don't business, you know what, I'm getting no bad to boy thing. And I'm saying to him, but what you're misunderstanding is she's not going in between a load of gay people. She may not give a damn whether you're gay or not. Yeah, you do. But what you got to understand is the people she's working alongside, you don't know if they're gay or not. The people you're working alongside, you don't know if they're gay or not. So what, are you going to stop her from doing it? And he never allowed her
to do that part.
So and she failed. And she failed.
This is the thing. Okay, you might be opposed to teachings. Anyone might be, which is an individual choice. You know? That's why we get it mixed up between. That's why I ask the difference between cultural education, social education, and education per se.
If you're asking me, do I think it's right they educate in primary school?
No, I don't even. I'm not even going there.
But I'm just saying.
All I want to know is the material. So
that material, I believe that material, that section there. If they're going to educate them, they need to know at what level they're going to educate them to, and maybe at the later stages. At secondary school, I believe primary school children too young for that.
So what will happen when that child fails and don't get that because of that refusal to even include
lower mark? Really, I suppose.
So she would fail and then
go on to the next level.
You see, this is what I'm saying. So through the ignorance of the parents, and not really ignorance because they have a right.
I was going to say it's more cultural, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying. Cultural education is what I mean. So culturally, that prevented you're in a society that I'm not sort of you know, I know we're in a society that has its values. Might not. We don't have to accept society's values, do we?
But it's there, yeah.
But it's there because you live amongst it and you share the same territory as people. I mean, this ignorance, this fear, and they say they're not homophobic. They really are, you know, because they have the fear of homosexuality.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you didn't fear it. But no, a lot of people say they're not homophobic because they don't fear. But when they hear the child have to put in the curriculum, oh my God, no way. So it's fear.
Do you know what? No,
it's fear because if you wasn't scared, you make a child.
Why is it about fear? Maybe because you see, for me, there's a lot of things my son wasn't allowed to take part in. And not because of fear, but because it's because your child at primary school.
With homosexuality here, LGBT.
Let me tell you something about when my son is at school, he's in primary school. He don't need to know about them thing there.
Right, so the parent was right then.
That child is at secondary. At secondary school, that child is at secondary. His child.
So she was right not to fail. What you're saying?
I think it was unfair. To fail a child on the grounds of remember.
So how would you handle that?
How would I handle that?
I mean,
if it was me personally,
you don't want your child.
I wouldn't. I'll be honest. I'm one of these parents. I go in blazing. The teachers all know me by first name. Pick up the phone, they know my voice straight away because I don't play about. Yeah, I believe. This is what I believe. If that was my son, I wouldn't be happy. I'll be honest. I wouldn't be happy because I believe that children learn at different phases, different stages in regards to that part.
But you'd be quite happy to see him fail because of those reasons.
I would not allow my child to fail.
Hold on, but...
I wouldn't allow him to... No, you didn't hear what I said.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be happy. But if I knew, because it's not like he's climbing. He's not climbing in bed with someone, is he?
Go on, carry
He's
on
with.
saying, yeah,
Well, because what you got to remember, the whole year through, he's in a circle. Yeah, he's in a circle and he's working side by side with these people, these other children.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're learning. We don't even know. To be quite honest, realistically, he don't know. I don't know what they was going to do the presentation about. It could have been about being anti-gay. You don't know. You don't know what part of the topic it was. He wasn't prepared to know. He didn't want to hear nothing.
But if it's part of his exam to pass,
you know, sometimes.
So that parent has actually influenced the child to a point where that child didn't take that part and failed.
For me,
is the parent quite happy to have their children fail?
Let me tell you something.
Virgin?
For me,
I'm not saying that you should.
For me, I can't speak for other people. That's why we'd love for somebody to call in.
It's not about our opinions.
I can't really speak for other people, but I will say this. You see, if I have to chew toenails for my son to pass, I will chew toenails. You know why? In this country, it's hard for people in general, yeah, but it's harder for people of colour. Do you understand? And I've always said to myself, because of life experience, even today when I went to the shop across the road to get my water, the man didn't even want to serve me. He didn't. Why? I don't know. It was a different guy that was there to usual, and he's looking at me, and he didn't want to serve me. He wouldn't take the money in his hand. I had to put it on the counter. To say you were taking so long, I just laughed. And when he was giving it back to me, he put my crisps and my water right at the counter, right next to where he was. So I have to reach out. Do you understand? So there's always some kind of... For me, it's not a struggle because, you know what, to me, the way I look at it is I don't blame myself for other people's flaws.
Isn't that the same for any different race? I mean, you know...
Well, everybody's experience is different.
That's what I'm saying. It's not a personal thing, really, is it?
Well,
today...
he probably treats other people like that. Exactly. But today, it was me.
Well, today it was you, but you maybe perceived it as that. I'm not saying it isn't.
Yeah, I've been in that shop.
I know, but I'm not saying it's not. But the individual's behaviour.
No, but this is what I'm saying.
That's just his bag. He's probably.
So if it means
a mad guy,
that I have to bite my lip for my child to learn, to pass, to be able to exhale and do bigger and better things, then I believe that I would. I'm not gonna watch my child fail. Because of my ignorance. Ignorance is a big problem.
Right. So there is all that possibility that their ignorance will keep your child back. But the parent, by the sounds of that parent is quite happy.
Oh yeah.
He
didn't business.
So
he didn't business. He didn't even talk to me for 3 days.
So what about the child?
He said he don't care.
Right. So
he don't care.
The education then. So when I hear these said group, because that's not growing, but a feature. Especially in liberation groups and back trafficker groups here in South East London. Yeah, Peckham to be exact. You have these fringe groups that will educate. There's another education here. Yeah. See? That group will educate or influence them. I don't know, maybe not education is too strong a word. Maybe influence the feelings of that parents through the need to be cultural. You understand what I'm saying? So, is it the culture that would educate us that way? You see what I'm saying?
Or would you like to be rude and take your call?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
No. Hold on.
Remember, the whole world can hear you.
Yeah, listen, I'm on live and I can't turn you off, mate. Now I'm going to go and see you later.
Everybody, you're here in business.
Easy. Oh, man. This stupid phone.
It's okay.
So, you didn't hear that.
You're like, you're blushing a bit there.
No.
Yeah, the whole conversation, actually.
I'm not going to answer this phone again for me. He's got my torch on. And
don't you just turn the power off?
Yeah, you wouldn't even allow me to do that.
Oh God! Does the battery not come out? Anyway, can we get back on topic, please?
So
typical man.
Go on.
You was actually talking.
Yeah, I was saying.
Without breaking your phone.
Sure, I can't deal with that. I was actually saying that the education wise, and the child was parents were quite happy to see the child fail because of his cultural values. And I don't know if it's a cultural value.
Of course it is, because
I don't know, because
do you know it's
a cultural value. But then
obviously you have
can't be a
got
cultural
white
value.
people that are anti-gay. All cultures. You've got anti-gay in all cultures, but it's stronger among Caribbeans.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I have noticed.
Yeah, but the thing is, okay, there's that, and we understand that. But as it to your child's future, you're live on Genesis.
Good afternoon.
Can you? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, you're live on Genesis.
You just caught me off guard. I've been trying to ring for about the last 10 minutes. I was going to get through.
Sorry, yeah, probably the phone.
Is that the main man, otherwise known as the mighty Heru?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, well, I don't know about Mighty, but it's Heru, yeah.
Okay. And the other young lady?
Good afternoon. My name's Nevaeh.
Nevaeh.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All right. I've got a couple of things on my mind. First thing is the first time I'm ringing for this year.
Okay. Yes.
First call
That's
of
great.
the year.
That's great.
Now,
That's great. Yeah.
we got into your station last week.
Mm-hmm.
We listened to a young lady. She was given a rendition of the word mixed race,
Yes.
and that one caught us off guard because I thought we'd addressed that on Genesis many times.
Mm-hmm.
Many times, but listening to it at that time, we didn't even want to ring in. It was a few of us listening. We didn't want to ring in. Just wanted to hear what her version was.
See.
Now, I want to ask both of you something. I'm going to be brief.
Okay.
I want to ask this question. I want to ask, if you have an Aborigine man,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have a Japanese woman,
Mm-hmm.
they have a child. Is that child mixed race?
Let me get it. Even though that's not the topic, but let's see what you're trying to say. A Japanese man.
No. Aborigine man.
Aborigine. What, like
Aborigine man, one of them dark
Australian
black man.
Yeah.
Aborigine man
Yeah.
and Japanese woman
Yeah.
come together,
Yeah.
What do you class
have a
as
child.
Yeah.
Is that child mixed race?
No, because you know why?
What?
The term mixed race is it's a misnomer. Remember now, there's no such thing as a mixed race. That's only
What do you mean?
that's the tag what we give it. I mean, if you talk about humanity now, and different varieties of humanity, they're the one human, you know.
You never ask it that.
Yeah, you know, you asked me if it's mixed race. I said there's no.
What would you see that child as?
No, you said would I say it's mixed race? I said no, because there's no such thing as the term race.
Oh, heritage.
Oh, hold on, no. Let's deal with what the gentleman said.
Oh God. Here we go.
Race. Now we're using terms that are not has no reality in nature whatsoever. It's a
But it's how
political.
people
Let me finish. It's a political term.
Okay.
To use race. There's no such thing as race. The gentleman who invented that term was Blumenbach, the German racist.
Look.
So we're dealing with terms that are not have no meaning, brethren.
No, but it doesn't matter about the term.
It doesn't have any meaning.
No, listen. It doesn't matter about the term. You just ask a simple question. Just give us. No. I'll give you my answer. Yeah, because Heru likes to do this long thing. But hang on. For me personally, if I'm wrong, I apologise, but I would class that person. Heru don't like the term, and he's probably about to take my head off. No. But I would see that child as mixed race. The reason being is because they're from two totally different backgrounds. Understand? Do you understand what I'm saying, Heru?
Not really.
He's here with his face all screwed up and everything. But you've got to remember, everybody sees things differently.
Fine.
Do you understand?
Fine. Understood.
Everybody sees things differently. That is the term. Even on paperwork, it says white and black mixed.
Right.
White and black other mixed. Black, it actually says black
so we're dealing with
mixed.
paper. So, the caller. So, caller, what do you say about that answer?
Let me tell you why I've done this. Because in my experience, growing up in this country, at some point, because I went abroad at some point, I'm going to talk about my experience growing up. Now, you see the term that was used last week, and it's been used many, many times. You see this term half-caste.
Yes.
Now, when
when I was growing up, half caste meant black father, generally Caribbean, 9 times out of 10 Jamaican, and then English white mother. Now, if amongst our friends we were having that conversation and it was white father, black mother, we would specify the difference. But other than that, half caste meant black dad, white mother.
Okay.
That's what the term meant.
Yeah.
Half caste at no time was ever a dirty word used to put you down. It was never like how in America they started talking about the N word. You couldn't say, you had to say the N word. It was nothing like that.
You see,
so that's all half caste ever meant. Black father, white mother. There was no other variations back in the day. So amongst children and even adults, if you said half caste, that is what it meant.
May I ask what age you are, please? If that's okay.
Similar to you all in the studio.
You don't know my age, sweetheart.
No,
do you know why I'm asking?
Many times. Look, listen, you've said, well, look.
How do you know I could be a different lady?
Look, I'll make it easy on you. I'm between you and Heru.
Okay, you know why I asked that question? Because when I was growing up, we were told off if we called somebody of... That's why I use the term mixed race. If we called someone half caste, we would get told off because
not in our day,
caste to us, half caste was a cast off.
No, not in our day. As gentleman says, in our
yeah, but I'm saying in my day,
was legal. It was legal description. It wasn't never needed politically correcting, but because of the nature of the society, the days of racism, ting, they also
what's that?
They put that in there to be corrected.
Okay.
But back in our day, wasn't a problem.
No, but this is what I'm
We
saying.
wasn't told
It
not to say that.
it was for us. We were told off.
We wasn't.
What, couldn't call someone half caste?
Our parents used that word. I've seen my half caste boy along there. Well, you have to so it was normal to us, as the gentleman was saying. Normal things.
Yeah.
So I was quite surprised when they brought it in. So
may I ask you, caller?
thing.
May I ask you how you see the Aborigine man and the...
What would you call it?
No. What it is, it's not about... Because I took it to the extremes. I was trying to think of two end-to-end contrasts, two totally... Because the young lady was even saying that... She went as far as saying that... I think Heru put to her, so is mixed race a race then? And she said yes.
Oh, no. What we said was, do you think... No, Heru asked her, do you think mixed race is a race? And she replied, well, yes, because there's enough of us to make our own race.
Wow.
That was it. Yes,
that was heavy. That's a heavy stuff.
Well, as soon as you quoted that was more or less it, word for word. But she also went on to say a statistic, and I don't know where she got it from. She said there's more people having mixed race children than like black and black couples. Yeah,
because it's all different people from different...
And I don't know where she got that statistic
because
from.
It is really, because, all right, my grandfather is Indian. Yeah? My nan is black. Do you understand? So that's mixed. That's a mix.
Yeah, but again...
No, but hang on. That's a mix. That's weird, but there's two races which have mixed.
See,
you're talking about
problematic.
Colour. You see, he's got. No, do you know what it is?
No, it's very problematic to accept it like that.
Do you know you will rarely hear me and Heru agree because it's like everything I say, he's got something to say.
No, it's true. It's true, isn't it? You asked me to accept a misnomer. Race.
I'm not asking you to accept anything.
Yeah, but if we look at it this way, it's another lens we can look at it through, a proper lens.
Yeah.
If we say, if there's no this race, this term race, it's allowed to conjure up some weird crap thing, man. They don't exist. There's no such thing as race. We're humans.
Okay.
There are different varieties.
Okay.
Of human. Some are white. Some
are
I
hear what you're saying, but
melanin recessive.
I hear what you're saying, but at the same time, you have to, regardless whether you
society forces us to do that. Yeah.
Regardless, but that
I can understand that.
Yeah, that's how it is. But you have to. You see, I don't know. Maybe it's just me as an individual, but I believe it doesn't matter the terminology which is used, so long as you understand what the person is saying. Just respect what the person is saying. That's how I look at it. It doesn't matter. Do you understand? You knew what he meant.
Not really.
No, you did, because you went straight into there is no such thing.
Yeah, because they're trying to get me to accept the concept.
No, he's not trying to get you to do anything. He's asked you a simple question.
Psychologically.
No. See, you're reading
I
too
couldn't answer
deeply
that
into
though.
it.
No, but no. There's no surface level thing here. Because what I'm saying to you, right?
What?
No,
Let's start now.
No. If I'm going to get the whole thing, the whole
Yeah.
nine yards,
yeah.
right, the full 100,
Yeah.
without any psychological thing, caller's gone. You there, caller?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right. So I didn't
Listening
want,
to you go on.
No,
Yeah.
I'm just listening to
Yeah.
you fresh out,
They
because
were
that was
li-
the reason why I called, because
yeah.
I want to get to
Right,
the bottom
so,
of this mixed
right,
race
so
half,
you-
what people's understanding
Aye.
of the term is. This is what
This
I want
is
to
right.
get to
So
the
this is
bottom of.
that's why I'm putting this as a.
I'm not talking about what you said, the man invented it, like what your
Yeah.
co-presenter said. You
So-
knew what I meant.
Yes.
I'm only I don't want to go as far as the history of it. I just want
Okay.
to find out what
What
people
people
understand
understand.
Oh,
by
okay.
this thing called mixed race.
Yeah, okay, that's
To
what you
me,
mean. So
it
you
was-
don't want to in depth
but you said
analysis.
That's what I'm
Theory,
saying.
though.
It's a Sunday
All right.
afternoon.
That's quite-
You don't want to lecture.
Yeah. All I'm trying to say is what is the the
Yeah.
street understanding, the young people's understanding,
layman
of
understanding,
what mixed
isn't it?
race means, and it appears to be,
The
as
political
I'm saying,
understanding.
black father,
Yeah.
white
Okay.
mother.
But among
Yeah?
the younger generation,
Once they hear that mixed race, that's what they're looking at.
Oh, that's
No,
why
You heard it
oh,
on the news.
yeah,
Somebody
yeah.
running down the street, pinched a handbag, mixed race.
Yeah. Oh,
You're looking at that
yeah.
type of person.
I
You're not looking
understand.
at an
Yeah.
Aborigine man and
Yeah.
a Japanese woman.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing. If that's hidden, then also the facts are hidden too. So if we want to build a consensus and make and have the correct terminologies, that might not must be mine. Correct terminologies.
Can you focus, please?
Yeah,
Don't worry
correct.
about what's going on over
Correct
there.
terminology. So you don't bring a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
It brings a clear-cut understanding.
Yeah.
So we don't have to be emotionally led along. Because
Yeah.
mixed race means, oh, you're from a different kettle of fish, brethren. Well, you're not really.
Really?
You're from the same human species.
Who cares
So
about species? We talk
no,
about-
this is towards racial harmony here. Because if everybody understood things better,
Yeah.
then they would have been less inclined to have racial hatred or
Not necessarily.
or racial
Not
tension. Because
necessarily.
you're not no different from me.
Not necessarily. And
Yeah,
I'll tell you
skin
why not
colour makes no
necessarily.
difference,
No,
brethren.
it makes it. Let me tell you something. It does make a difference. And let me tell you why it makes a difference.
Right.
My brother, myself and my brother, we have two different dads. Yeah. My brother is very high toned in skin. Yeah. I'm brown. Yeah. Up until he was about 3, he was very, very pale. And if you know the tears I would cry as a teenager, because people were so hurtful. When I no, that's my brother. That can't be your brother. That's impossible to be a brother. Now he's a grown man. Yeah, he's like kind of, I don't know what kind of you call his complexion. I
Melanite.
just call him yellow. Yeah, he's kind of he's high toned but like a yellowy sort of shade. Now people just automatically assume his father is white, but his father's not white.
His mother's white. No.
How can my mum be white?
Exactly.
Oh, stop,
So his father's
being
not
extra
white.
now.
No.
His father's not white,
Yeah.
and his mum's not white. But black comes in all shades. This is the
Yeah.
thing; it comes in all shades.
But the gentleman said if he has a two different parents.
No,
from
but he still
heritage-
gets classed as a
Yeah, but I
treated
know.
as if he
But
had.
so what the question is, if we know that they're different
Yeah, but you
Aborigine
don't know,
fathers,
like
no,
he just said-
we're
like he
talking
just
about
said
here.
on the news, he
but
said
he
on-
knows.
Yeah.
So we're talking about somebody that knows that his father
Okay.
is Aborigine
Okay.
and his mother is.
Yeah,
is
but if you listen to what he said after that, because he bypassed that, and he said on the news, they said, what was it? A mixed race person robbed somebody, something similar to that. He said.
I don't
yeah?
know whether the mother's.
Right, they don't know. They're just looking at the skin tone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not on the skin tone, the hair.
Not necessarily.
Well,
not
you can tell the mixed
necessarily.
race by the hair too.
No, you can't.
What?
No, you can't.
Okay.
My two daughters, let me tell you, my two daughters, one of them has very wavy, soft hair. See the other one? Got one big, her hair's got a hair.
Yeah.
And they have to grease their hair.
Yeah.
Afro,
but-
she's got a big afro. And her children have got afro. So you can't see this
So-
good hair. There's no such thing as good hair
Yeah.
anyway.
So caller. So
Yes.
is your question answered there, or what do you think?
No, I'm none the wiser.
You're none the wiser. So, but your point is.
No,
but-
I tell you for why, because I think there's a different perception to what we were thinking. When I say we, the listeners at my home, to
Yeah.
what the old school version of half caste now, we say mixed race. I don't know why they're now saying that if it's to soften it, because I've been around people, I've worked around people, as you know, they will tell you, oh, I don't want to call you black, I'll call you coloured, because they used to think it was a bit harsh.
So what's your taking on it then?
You know what I'm saying? No,
Yeah.
well, listen, I want to ask you this one as well.
Yeah, go on.
My take on it, is that
Yeah,
what you said?
yeah.
What's my take?
Yeah.
Well, my take is the original version. Black father,
Yeah.
white mother, and the term was half caste, because half caste has never changed.
But half caste
You
and
know what I
mixed
mean?
race is two different things, isn't it? Really, when you think about it.
Well, this is
Really?
why I called in it. But listen, I want to throw this other one in there.
Yeah.
You know, they got this term, and the police use it, and security. You know, IC1, IC2,
Yeah.
Oh,
and all this
yeah.
business. So what's the one for mixed race then? What's the term?
I think they just class them as black, to be honest.
Yeah, I've done. No, I'd have to ask
Yeah?
the police if
But my
someone
son does
knows.
security.
Yeah.
He does
I
security.
just, yeah,
What
but
is,
Yeah,
what,
but
is, what is the one for mixed race? Because
The-
it seems like they've upgraded half caste to mixed race, and nobody told me. So what's the one
Yeah.
for mixed race now? Because that's the term we now usually use. What's the one when they say IC1, IC2, IC3? What's the one for mixed race?
I don't think
well, let's see if anyone can
Well,
call
we'll
in.
have to find out that.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, we'll see if everyone
that's a good
calls
one.
in.
Have you got
Well,
any
we'll
touches
leave
on
it there then, because
education?
I'm sure there's somebody out there that knows.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Thank
All right,
you.
cheers, fella.
Respect all the time.
You
Listen,
take care of both of you.
Yeah, my
Nice.
You
respect.
too. Have
All
a
right,
pleasant
all right.
afternoon.
Yes,
I
I
love you.
So thinking about it is now. So we got that for anyone can know. There's a terminology used in the security industry,
Or, yeah.
or even the police, metropolitan police, to describe a mixed race, or to just say a mixed race, or they assume by looking at it it's a mixed race. So there's always that, and so we can always you can also talk on that, or
That's
you can
really
also
interesting,
yeah, it is
actually.
interesting.
Yeah.
So those of you who have any info and knowledge of that can also
Yeah.
call in, and we have a discussion on that as well, alongside what we were originally discussing, and that is education and the nature of education, whether it's okay. I mean, do you feel confident in the curriculums? Not even the teachers, because
can I just ask?
they're saying that schools are failing.
Can I just ask?
But
it's not schools. How are the schools failing?
That's what they say. The schools are failing, and
see-
you said it earlier on.
Yeah.
The teacher didn't. You know
what?
The teacher was dealing with things
I think-
on a favoritism basis.
Do you know what? I
You-
don't know
you
if
see what I'm
it's
saying?
I don't know if it's the time lapse with our age, yeah,
What?
or because the thing is you can't just base it on the curriculum. The reason why, let me finish, because your love interrupts me.
I ain't interrupting.
The reason why I say this, and when they say schools are failing, I don't believe. Obviously, the schools have to hit certain records, yeah. But how do they hit those records? Via the students' pass rates, their pass rates,
Yeah.
and their attendance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, this is where what I said earlier comes into play. If you don't have a teacher whose heart isn't in it, because kids are hard to work with now, they're very challenging. Yeah. If you have a child whose attitude towards learning is not good, they're not gonna progress. They're not gonna progress at the same level as what you would expect them to. So let me give you an example. So I go to school, yeah? I'm more focused on my hair, my clothes. I could have that attitude. I don't business. I don't need an education because my mum's got money, my dad's got money. So I've already got my path set out, and that's what I've decided. Then you've got another child who has the attitude, well, you know what? I need to learn to get a good education, to get somewhere in life. I sat on a school journey on my way back, and this is why I say it's that partly down to the children. I was listening to the conversations of these 10-year-old kids. One girl said when she grows up, she wants to be a wife with 2 kids. So the little girl next to her turned her head and said, "What are you talking about? I'm going to university so I can get myself a good job and I can buy anything I want." Do you understand? Yeah. So it's about you have to look at that.
Hold on. See, he's still missing the point.
No, I'm not missing the point because you're just saying.
Let me show you why. There's a reason why.
Go on.
I asked about the curriculum, basically, and what's being taught as opposed to people's ability.
But do you even know what's being taught, though? Do you know what's being taught?
You said I interrupt you, so you're
go on.
interrupting me now. Thank you.
I apologise.
Thank you. See, it was good for the goose, good for the gander.
Yeah, accept my
Right.
apology.
Yeah, cool. I don't know about that.
Joking.
Look sideways.
Really? Look sideways, yes.
Look sideways.
Right, no to order.
Yo, what I'm saying is this, yeah. What I'm saying is, we're not talking about pupils' ability or teachers' ability at the moment to teach what the educational system has as a
Okay.
curriculum? Is it necessary? What we're learning today, is it necessary? Is it equipped in our children
Okay, let me just.
to be what?
I'm
What
gonna
do you want your
ask you,
child to
what-
be?
what-
What do you like
No,
your
hang
child to
on.
be?
It doesn't matter what I want my child
course
to be
it
because you
matters.
said we're talking about the curriculum. So make
Yeah,
your
that's what I'm
mind
saying.
up.
So the curriculum shapes the teaching in it. So if I'm teaching crap,
Yeah,
no matter how good a teacher I am,
yeah.
I'm teaching crap. I'm saying as a Caribbean, black or whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
we shouldn't be. I think, are people satisfied
Are
with the
people?
nature of the curriculum?
Well, everybody will have a different view.
This is what I'm saying. When your son, as you said, pass all the exam, do you feel
Yeah.
that he's been educated to a degree? What
You
do
see, the
expect?
thing is,
You know what I mean?
you're asking me that question, but when I'm answering that question, you cut me and tell me,
No,
but
but
I'm not saying, no, let me finish, yeah? Because you see, with you, things are not actually black and white when you're talking. You're asking me a question, and I can only answer that question by saying to you, I don't, like I said to you, I believe, obviously, they've taught him what they've taught him, but they haven't taught him alone. So I can't reflect on that because I've educated my son. I brought somebody into my house to educate
teach
my
what?
son.
Same thing that was being taught anyway, right?
Well, no, because when he went to school, if you was listening, Heru, and you're shaking the head,
Yeah.
if you was listening, I said to you, when he went to school, they hadn't even touched on the stuff that he had been taught. So I gave my son an some would say an unfair advantage. I wouldn't say an unfair advantage because when you go from primary school to secondary school, your levels are estimated by your results.
Yes. So it is there, and success is based on the curriculum taught.
How
if you're
can
going
it-
to pass,
You see, you-
No, it's what I'm saying to you. No, hang on a minute. No, this is a fact. The reason why I'm asking that
Go on.
again is because the material that's being taught
Yeah.
is actually under your school books, English, maths, whatever you want to call it. The reason why I ask that question because it leads on to the Saturday schools now. When you have Saturday schools, all on, and the need for Saturday schools, culturally, I don't know, maybe it's a cultural
Are you
thing.
making an assumption that Saturday schools only follow the curriculum? Is that the
No,
assumption
what I'm
you're
saying, what other than the curriculum do they teach in a Saturday school? I mean, if a child is weak on maths, for instance,
Yeah.
or weak on English,
making? Okay, and what if
I
they're not?
thought, why would they want to go to a Saturday school?
What?
No,
That's an ignorant comment. Let me tell you why.
Why would
Because
they
you
want
know
to go to
what?
Saturday school?
You see, knowledge is something that it doesn't matter how much you've got. You can have an intelligent hang on. You can have an intelligent child, yeah, that the parents want that child to learn. They want them to exhale because if you're at 10 years old, 11 years old, obviously the school curriculum is set for 10, 11 years old. So you want to give your child a head start because in secondary school now, they're going to be teaching something different.
So
some parents try to help their children.
Yeah, but when you go to a school, extra learning,
Yeah,
it's not going to be. I mean, if my weakness is maths,
yeah.
I would then look extra education for my child that way. Some maybe private tuition or a Saturday school.
Yeah.
Hoping then that they're going to be taught how to do this thing.
Yeah.
But they can't do it in mainstream. They've got a problem. So what education in a Saturday school would be any different from a mainstream teaching? No, we're talking about Martians in Saturday school
difference between
and Star Wars and everything, and then I talk about maths and how to present yourself in society within the mainstream school, brethren.
Obviously, you're not listening to what I said to you.
Well, you ain't listening.
When I am listening, don't be rude. Yeah, don't bother with it. Yeah. When you have children who are behind and they go to additional classes, sometimes it's not because they can't take it in. Sometimes it's because of the way it's been explained to them. So everybody, you could. I'm watching your face.
Don't wash my face, mate.
Yeah, I have to wash your face. You're bang in front of me. I don't have a choice.
Wash my face.
Anyway, Heru. Yeah, don't start getting your knickers in a twist. Then sometimes you have to explain things in a different way, and then they pick it up. Now you have children who are behind that need that additional to help them catch up. But then you have children that go to Saturday schools, private tuition, that are on the level or above, but their parents still want to give them more.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So the ones that go to Saturday school because they're not getting on well in mainstream school. This is why I thought this is what Saturday schools were really about, and in our in our community. people that are not doing well in mainstream school because of their whatever's wrong with them. They don't have to know if whether they've been assessed or not.
if you're...
Oh, let me finish first. I'll let you finish.
All right.
Right.
Can you
So
please don't be
let
rude
me.
now.
Yeah, but
Come on.
no. But
Don't be rude. No need for
let me
it.
finish. As you will keep requesting, so I give you time. So
Really?
anyway, so what I'm saying to you is this.
Trifling.
Now, you see, it's all right for you to
I'm listening.
Nitpick, yeah.
Come
All
on,
right.
Heru.
Right, allow me, man.
You know what it
Right,
is?
let's go.
You
Let's
can't
go.
have two balls in one pen. Anyway,
Let me go on.
education.
Thank you.
Education.
So, to my mind, I think personally that the education is there, extra education is there for those who are not doing well in mainstream schools, have difficulty, and they seek help outside of that on a Saturday to shore up their children's ability when they go back to main school. They're not behind in their lessons and they're behind in their in the exams.
The government now, I don't know about in your day, yeah? When I was at school, the government didn't bring in extra tutors, but now they bring tutors into school. Like if you have children with disabilities, it actually brings out, they call it outside bodies, into school to help that child. That's how they do it. Saturday school is a choice of for a parent to make. They bring outside bodies into school to help educate. They also have, if it's a behavioural issue that is stopping the child from learning, they have, I don't know what they call them. They call them, I think, centres outside. There are different. It's not all just black and white.
Well, the thing is, the reason why I say that again, because oftentimes we hear people saying, they need Saturday school to teach them, like for instance, Black history and things like that. So when you go to a Saturday school, you're not going to be taught. I mean, what person would you send? What would you think your child needs educating along the lines of ethnic terms, Black history, where you come from? Most of these Saturday schools that I know are predicated around that.
Can I just say something before you continue, yeah? Caller 8483. Yeah, last week you sent in some very disrespectful and rude messages, yeah? The only person that you bothered with that was yourself. You're starting again. This is just damn rude, yeah? Everybody has a level where they take off. See with me, I haven't got time for ignorance. So if you're not going to send in messages in regards to the subject we're talking about, don't send them in. Don't send in disrespectful messages.
Yeah, we'll just lay out that, man. They can. That's not a problem. We're not going to read it.
No, I'm not going to read it out, but it's just ridiculous. Do you understand? This is the following week, we move on.
Yeah, I know.
And you just, it's just ridiculous.
Tiny things please tiny minds, so you can send it all day long. But see, when people, this is the thing, we've got to give room for people's ignorance as well. And let's ignore them. But what I was saying, most of these Saturday schools that I know of are basically predicated around ethnicity, blackness, and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, where is the education in that? I mean, I thought, but then again, it could be an education. They might feel a need that the child should know about their culture or where they were from. But
most schools don't know. When it comes to culture, they don't really. They talk about the Vikings,
which is
the Saxons, the Vikings,
which is their culture.
When they talk about slavery, to be quite honest, I don't think they even really touch on it to that. To be honest, my son's never. When I've spoken to him about history and everything, he's never ever mentioned it. Black History Month, they go out all out. They do go all out. I have to give that his particular school that. And I know there's another school in Deptford. They go all out as well. They get all the dishes. They talk about the different cultures. They put on plays and everything. But I do think that is what I do feel that is missing. That should be part of the curriculum.
Yeah, but should Irish be part of the curriculum?
But
Irish culture.
They do touch on that.
Should Indian should have their go? Japanese, Chinese, everybody squaring off in their various circles, to teach their children that, and you want in the curriculum, British curriculum.
You see, the thing is,
Hindu and what's the Cantonese
Yeah.
included in the British curriculum. I mean, how could people make those demands? So.
you know, the thing is, maybe that's what Black History Month's about. Maybe that's the time where they choose. Maybe they're supposed to put in that extra effort. And maybe that, obviously, because it's called Black History Month, they're supposed to focus on Black history. But do you know what? There was, I don't know if you ever saw it, there was a video on a boy in America, and the teacher was talking about Black history, and it was a rap the boy had made. I'll send it to you later because I've got it in my phone. And basically, this boy's talking, and he's talking about all the black greats. All of them, who was the first, who was the second, where they were. He went in hard, yeah. And I kept that. 2 years ago, I saw that, not last year, the year before, and I kept it. And it made me think that this boy, obviously, he's older than my last one because all the rest of them are grown up. But he's saying, "Well, hang on, you're talking about history, but what about?" Do you understand? And then that kind of pushed me because I taught my son about Black history, but when I saw that, I thought, you know what? Let me go and get some Black history playing cards. People don't know they exist. There are actually Black history playing cards, and they tell you of all the black greats. And then, lo and behold, the film started coming out. I can't remember the name of the film with the lady, the mathematician.
Okay.
And then at the end of that, they started listing.
But but you see, with all of that now, that's the thing. Secular education.
Yeah.
I don't think we make that distinction between cultural education and secular education, where if you send your son to a settler school, you would probably, depends, if you know you're going to be, it's a African-based school, then you know you're going to be sending your son to a school that teaches black African history.
But then you've got a school in Lee.
You're not going to get taught how to finish maths or learn formulas. You need to excel in your classroom.
But the thing is, there's a school in Lee which we went to visit on, when you're going on the open days. And when we went in there, my son said, "Mum, where's the white kids?" I said, "What?" I started laughing. I was like, "What?" He said, "Mum, the school's not very mixed, is it?" So I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, how comes the school's not mixed?" Because he'd never come across a school that was predominantly one race. We must have seen maybe in the whole school, we must have seen about three.
Well, and people like to draw reference to the Hebrew, the Jews, in schools or in hospitals. That's because they can do that. They've been granted special dispensation from the educational system to have their. And I've never, when I was at school, I never knew nothing about the Jewish people. Really? Seriously. I only know about Tudor kings and queens. All the talks about Tudor kings and queens. Wow. And that was in the 60s, Bridget. Yeah. Henry VIII and all them kind of people there. And then,
I learned about Henry VIII.
And his wives, and he chopped his wife's head off. Yeah. And it teaches how the judicial system was invented, how justice.
They don't go back, do they?
No. That's all. And I was quite surprised to realise when I left school, there's black people in the 18th century.
Really?
That shook me. Somewhat. Really? I was shocked when I left school. I said, "What?"
We had to come start somewhere.
Because I never knew black people existed in the 18th century when I was at school.
They had to exist at some stage.
But it didn't occur to me.
Oh, because that was okay. So hearing you say that, hearing you say that. So how did you, when you was in school and you was being educated? How did you feel? Because remember, obviously, we've got a little gap, not a major gap, but we've got a little gap, yeah? So obviously, how the teachers would have taught you, the attitudes in my day would have been totally different. Yeah,
because they have to be more advanced, because number one,
further on?
Further on, more advanced, because we were dealing with heavy racism back in the day.
Yeah.
And we were fighting that, we were beating, we were doing that war. And we won that war. Yeah. Because then they had more.
What do you mean by you won that war? I don't understand.
The lack of education in terms of, because if you say you need black history to your child for it to have a bit of self-respect.
Yeah.
Right? Then you jettison them to slavery or Africa.
Yeah.
and bypass the history that was here in Europe, which their people accomplished.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to really build up my people's character and self respect, I would have to point them to the achievements of the blacks here in early Europe, even before slavery, brethren.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be a more...
So do you think not being taught black history at school, do you feel, because sometimes when you say certain things, it's like, do you think you wouldn't be successful without it?
What, being taught black history? No, this is a good question, because I would have said it would make an iota of a difference. My success wouldn't rely on how much black history I know.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to go for an interview,
I'm
not going to be asked about black history, am I? You know
no, but being taught that can kind of sway your views.
Well, I don't know. Well, how?
Some people. You talk about these fringe groups all the time.
Yeah,
so that has to come from somewhere.
Yeah, but the point I'm trying to make is this: is it relevant? History is relevant to us
Of course,
as a people.
Definitely.
All people's history are relevant to them.
So do you think everybody should be, not just people of colour, but do you believe everybody should have black history taught?
No.
You know there's actually black history courses. Man. Do you know there's black history courses?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there's a new one that's coming from Goldsmith the other day. A new one. Yeah. Because it was... So, I don't know, though. I don't know whether I want to be that overexposed in society. When I'm a business brethren. No, but the thing about it is...
No, your business is everybody's business.
Yeah, but it's not... China's not everybody's business. And look how
yeah, but we're talking about education
and they were educated that way about the system as well. They were educated about imperialism.
Yeah.
And the Chinese rip it off their tongue how imperial system, USA is imperial, England is imperialist, and they can reel it off Mao Zedong and all them, whether they're teaching people for look at the rest as an imperialist state.
All right, look at it this way.
You understand what I'm saying to you?
Look at it this way.
So
they claim racism is ignorance. We know it's ignorance, yeah?
Yeah.
So you're saying that other cultures shouldn't be taught black history because... No, hang on. If I'm wrong, just correct me afterwards, yeah? So you're saying that you don't feel that they should be taught black history, but maybe if they are taught that black history, they won't be so ignorant. They'll understand more.
Oh, that's a bit contradiction. I never say that you shouldn't teach that they shouldn't teach black history. I'm trying to see the validation of it.
Okay.
To be taught, everybody knows my business. Everybody knows who I am and what kind. People don't do that. Unless it's just a individual thing or just a group thing. But to have it in the public arena, focused on
Other way.
You're live on Genesis.
Hello, Heru.
Yeah, how you doing?
Birdtrack.
I'm Birdtrack.
Oh, long time no hear. How are you?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. She said, lady said, how are you?
I'm fine. I just, yesterday I came back from holiday, so I will think. Now, I'm listening to the subject and now recording the show. And basically, what's happened is, now you say about history, forget, like, when the man said, like, maybe I don't forgetting history. History is a part of me right now that's important.
Yeah.
Because I can then say, in my time, things were different in schools.
Yeah.
I'm now getting to this thing where I'm sick to my stomach when I hear things that what's happening in schools right now. So I made my conclusion. I was thinking. I'm saying that now I know that you're going to very disagree with things that I'm going to say, but I reckon that Turkish people, black people, Asian people, now they should pull out the schools and have their own schooling system and have their own teaching system, because the teachers now are out of touch and out of sync with the people.
Have.
Yeah, but Bertrack, can I interject there? When you say they have their own schooling system, then what are they going to be taught?
No, I mean, when I say old school, it's
No, hold
same
on.
school
No,
system,
get.
but their own thing.
Yeah, their own system. But what are they going to be taught?
Are they going to be?
Taught something different from the mainstream?
the curriculum.
The same curriculum. The same.
Okay.
Hold on.
Oh, hang on. So what? Correct me if I'm wrong, Bertrick. So he's saying that he feels there should be single culture schools, but they follow the curriculum. And why, or should I say, how do you think that would help them progress? Why do you feel
like
that
having
would
a black
be,
teacher or a
yeah,
Turkish
why
teacher
do you feel
or a
that it,
Chinese teacher
Yeah.
to teach the same curriculum that English teach anyway?
so does
Doesn't
that
make
include the
an ounce of
teachers?
sense.
Does that include the teachers or just the pupils?
Well, what it is that I believe only this issue. When people get expelled from schools for every little thing, and I've been hearing so many people now that are being expelled now, and I go to meetings as well. I'm an advocate, and people get expelled. And now that special schools are closing down, instead of being sent to special schools, things are really gone. The teachers have lost, out of touch with the people. The system is out of touch. So instead, they should do the same national curriculum, but also taught as well, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Each of these school days, they should be taught the different subjects and their own cultural subjects.
Yeah, it's a bit like Islam schools.
And their own heritage.
It's a bit like it's a bit like an
basically
Islamitic school. Islam. That's what they do. They teach within or interwoven with the actual secular education. They intertwine a bit of their culture in it as well. But at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is this is what a lot of people are advocating for. That they have their own schools, yet they will teach the same curriculum that they were being taught in a mainstream school, but taught by their own teachers.
How are they going to progress by that?
This is what I don't understand. This is what I'm trying to understand.
Will that not feed racial hatred?
That's of course. If you're going to teach, this is what I'm saying about some of these little fringe groups that we hear making a lot of noise. They don't know they can't make sense of what they're trying to say. Have your own schools, right? You own this and you own that and you own this in a territory which is governed by who's dominant. You know the dominant group here in England. If you go to Africa, it's the same thing. You have to be taught their curriculum. Would you say, if you were to go to Africa now, would you ask Africa say, can I have a European teacher to teach European teaching in your country, brethren? Would that be cool?
But what I'm saying is, I'm trying to express the thing side of this. I am the only sad thing that I'm sad about is children being expelled from. So if children being expelled from those schools, they should have an alternative to be, instead of the Saturday schools should be week schools as well. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Okay,
and those children that are expelled should be going to those schools, and then the teachers are more tolerant, and there's been stories that actually when they get expelled, they go to these schools, and the African groups that you're talking about, Heru, which in one way that I have to think you up about, like talk to you about when you put them down. That station is actually trying to do the best they can to put those boys and make a weekend school, not a Saturday.
No. Yeah, but you can't. No, Bertrack, you can't. No, Bertrack, you're wrong to say that. I'm not aiming anything at any one particular group. You might assume that, but that's not the case. You be careful what you say, because people might take it the wrong way. You know, a gospel that I'm doing that. No, I'm talking about the general idea. I'm not talking about whether the school they're trying their best to do whatever they're trying their best to do. Fine. All I'm doing is trying to make sense of it, brethren. And it's doing this kind of cultural bullying, this emotional blackmail that goes on there. Just like you said there, they're trying to do the best. No, you're trying to emotionally blackmail me,
The
brethren.
thing is, I respect what Bertrick's
but you
saying.
can't
I do
do
respect
that.
what you're saying. But let me give you an example, Bertrick. I think it was last year, they built a new school in the borough. And it was coming out. They stated clearly, a all-black school. Majority of the people that I know, they was in uproar because they're saying, what do you mean? Like, there's not enough schools as it is. Yeah? Why have a all-black school? I just don't. I believe, this is what I believe, Bertrick. I believe it doesn't matter whether you go to a all one cultured school or a mixed school. So long as you get a good education, that's all that matters. When my son, my second son, when he went to when he left secondary school, because remember they have to stay in education until they're 18 now. When he left there and he changed and he went up to the next level, even though he's a Catholic, but even though when they went there, he had to go to church there, and they had to, when they done religious studies, they weren't doing no religious studies on his religion. He had to follow theirs. Do you understand? And then obviously they get an exam on whatever. So the thing is, this is part of my concern. If you're saying the culture, but you do have some people of one culture that do not follow the faith. So what happens to them? They're being forced to do things that they wouldn't ordinarily
Emotional
do.
blackmail.
Do you understand? So that can kind of interfere with them. The Saturday school thing, Bertrick, is an additional thing. That's more of if you want extra help, extra tuition for your child. It's a choice.
This is what I'm saying. That's what I thought it was. But
no, it is a choice.
But it's not, though. It's more, as Bertrick was
No, they
saying.
do Saturday detention. No, but you see that they have centres. For children that are disruptive or get expelled from school, they have centres. They have
the Saturday
places.
school that he's talking about, detention about black culture.
Yeah.
This is what most of these schools are about.
Yeah.
That's why I said. But he labelled me as he felt the need to defend a particular group because he thought I was. I was aiming at them. But I'm saying, in general, what is the real meaning of it? As you said, is it to give extra help?
Yeah.
To the children because they're weak at a particular topic or subject, or is it just to teach culture?
Yeah.
This is what I need to know.
Yeah.
Oh, extra help. I say extra help, but also the teachers to be trained, because that is why I'm saying that
definitely.
they should not expel children, because there are things. When I did what I did, and I'm not going to say it again, I was not expelled for it because our schooling system, even when I went with our school, at special school, we went to a mainstream school, which was Clapham Manor School, which had totally normal pupils. But at the time, the head teacher, at that time, when I said to the teacher, I'm going to do this to her, she went and said, go to so-and-so's office. Yeah. She sent me there, and this was we, as Clapham Park School at the time, special school. We went to school called Clapham Manor School, which was a good school, and we just gone there to mainstream to join in their maths to see how they would behave. It was like a pilgrimage kind of thing. When we went there, when I said that, however, I did cry, but they still wanted me back to go to Clapham Manor School. The head teacher said, look, he's been upset, and I missed that. And then, however, I behaved myself at Clapham Park School, and I went back to Clapham Manor School to see how they were. And this was from 92 to 93. Some of Clapham Manor School's children went to our school to see how things were done. And it was very, very good. What I'm saying is now, the schooling system is so out of touch that if I was to say something like that now, there will be expulsion. Not just that. They'll bring the social services in, and even schools have their own police station.
Okay, Bertrand, let me just quickly jump in there. Now, they don't just, unless it's something really severe, they don't just exclude kids from school anymore. There's not too many schools with mentors anymore, but they do have rooms that they can go to, children with behavioural issues that they can go to if they're feeling that angry. There's someone that they can go to talk to that person. I know of a lot of kids that have behavioural issues, not just because they're bad, but because of things that are
Their
going on
family,
in their outside life. Also, there was an incident in school, and this boy, I don't think he was like, his mum had actually made the school aware that he had issues. And you know what this boy did? He was talking to my son, and the boy must have brushed him off. So because he looks at the world in a different way, he's protecting my son. He grabbed a pencil and he stabbed the boy.
Who did?
The boy stabbed the boy in the back of his neck. Luckily, he didn't. It didn't do no affect his breathing, and he just kept fingering with the pencil. Yeah, they didn't expel him from the school. What they did, they obviously had him assessed, brought in help and whatever, and he obviously ended up needing.
From school.
No, he wasn't.
For the day.
Obviously, he took time. In my day, we called it suspension. Yeah, exclusion now. Well, you've got permanent exclusion, and you've got exclusion where it's time out. They sought him help.
And that was a good thing, yeah?
Of course, it was definitely a good thing, because if they hadn't sought him help,
Just
he
put
could
him
have
in
grown up and he could have gone and done anything.
Murdered someone.
Yeah.
Well, this is what I'm saying. So, Bertrack, the education for you, is this a brainwash education system or what?
It was better then than now, because I hear, because I go to meetings, and I tell you what, there has been in the meetings, because I'm an advocate, and I see there's been people that have been excluded, and I asked one question to them. I said, if you end up doing something, underneath that table like I did one time, and I was caught out, and she said, you know what would happen? You would get excluded from school for, you would never come back to that school. And basically, what I'm saying is, although it's not appropriate, because I'm not going to go to the details, I started to know myself, who I was in 96, like who I was a boy. And basically, what happened was, I was caught, I was told by the teacher, and he told me about sex education. He told me not to do it again. He didn't tell my mum, but eventually he had to, but he didn't go to the social services and thing, and it was kept secret. Basically, what I'm saying is now that there are things like cases like this that have happened, and a lot of the time now, to hear to someone that I really know.
Bertrack, that's a bit of a sexual exploitation sound that's going on there. It's probably that children. So we don't know what children have been through or going through when it comes to school. It's a gathering of people, but we don't know what's going on in the background, and so teachers have to be alert. That's what I'm saying to you about education.
They need
right?
more training.
But in the mainstream schools, and if children are failing, or as it's been said, to my mind, the school's been failing, but what about the curriculum? Has the curriculum failed as well?
Heru, do you know what I've just heard on the news, and
What's
what
that?
I've just read up on? Not just the school system. They are going to have, basically, for people like that who do things like that. And plus, what I've heard on the news is two things that I heard. I'm going to intertwine this with this. And if you let me land, and then I will end the call after that.
Okay.
Two things that I heard. In schools now, for people who do that, basically they're going to be expelled, and that's it.
Do what?
The school system is going to get tougher. Expelled, all these things are going to be expelled. Second thing is, they're going to have more police stations in school. Secondly, they're going to have, police are going to carry tasers.
They do carry tasers already.
It's been on the news.
Police
All
carry
police
tasers.
are going to carry tasers.
And
And
they've got
I
police
land
stations
like
in
that,
up the road.
basically. And I let the people think, because I was listening to one station this morning, and they had a big topic about this kind of thing. And basically, there's been an outrage on all the channels and protests about schools excluding people for every little thing. It's including in France, in Germany, in the Netherlands. There's been protests and upholds by people with yellow vests. There've also been upholds of police shooting.
Yeah.
children.
Bertrack, what do you mean yellow risk?
The people in don't you? Oh my God! I'm talking about the people in yellow vest
What's
in
that?
France. In England, the yellow vest people are descendants of our rights. They have
Did you say
descended
yellow
of our
West?
rights.
What it is?
Yes, the yellow vest.
Okay, no, it's Heru.
Yellow vest protest group.
Okay, West.
Okay. All right then.
They're yellow vest protest group.
Okay.
They're everywhere.
Someone knocking at your door there,
Now they
Bertrand.
have members in France. Now they have members in England. They're basically
trying to get in
for our rights. All right.
Okay.
Great.
Nice one, Bertrand. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Respect. I'm trying to get to Bertrand there. Open the door, man. Yeah, thank you. Right, so you're in tune to Genesis Radio and the People's Talk Show, Heru and Nevaeh. It's quite interesting, you know. This is what I'm saying, that the thing that we expect, and I asked the question, what can we expect from the system? The system is set, not the curriculum. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, your child, what do you expect from your child? I don't know. What do I expect from my child? I expect my child to be successful, right? Do you expect your child to be successful?
No, I don't expect.
You don't expect him to be successful.
Well, you can't. You can. Wanting is one thing. Expecting is another thing. Because everybody's abilities is different.
Well, you can assess your son's ability from day on, and you can give the extra help that you did.
Yeah, but the thing is, you have some parents who just don't have
his...
the time. Some parents are, and it's factual, some parents aren't interested in what their kids are doing. Some parents are. Some parents are working so hard to make sure their children have everything. Sometimes it's just accidentally bypassed. And then you have parents that go into school and the teachers will say, oh, well, we believe that they need this, and this help. And then the parents are like, well, no, because I know my child's not like that. My child knows it. Do you understand? And I think this is part of the thing. But can we move off of the curriculum?
Yeah. You want to die to move off of
that? Because it's been a couple of hours now.
Let me give
and move on to a different part.
Okay, let me give out the numbers one more time then. 0779 542 9449. Now repeat. 0779 542 9449 for calls and texts now. Nevaeh wants to move off of the subject. But
no, not totally off the subject.
No, not the subject, but off of that entrenched part. But thing is, the reason why I brought that, still haven't satisfied me anyway.
You're never satisfied.
No, I'm unsatiable. I'm not at time, but you know. But here, what I was trying to really get at, and we can close that part of it by saying that if there's the lack of education that's needed with our children, especially about themselves, their culture, whatever it is, from a Jamaican, you know, people are swinging past that and going straight to Africa. You know, forget about Jamaica, mate. Talk about Africa, and which I have
because we're all black.
Yeah, because I have no direct affiliation to. So you're live on Genesis.
Hello.
Yes. How you doing?
Oh, hang on.
Is that real?
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear us?
You sound a bit muffled, my friend.
Really? Hold on, let me see. I can do it. All right, anyway, carry on. We can hear you loud and clear anyway.
Yeah, I was rather concerned, really. First, before I address everybody else. Well, let me address you and say hello to you and your co-host.
Yeah, how you doing? Yeah, nice to hear from you, Reese. Long time.
That's because you don't read the phone, your phone number out. That's number one.
Oh, so that's right.
So long. Last week, and I think whenever I tune in, same thing. And you would receive a call, or you would take a new subject, and you'll say, I want to hear what the people have to say. And everybody expects with bated breath, and the numbers are, and they never come. And you get into today with your co-host, you just ramble on. You just have an internal conversation that you guys can have on the way to the kebab shop afterwards.
I don't eat meat, but apologies for that.
Whatever, you know? You could do this
I wasn't here last week, so you can be talking
to
me.
That people in the community, well, I don't know, you know, whatever.
Welcome,
whatever.
Reese.
It's your shit, and it's your party. And if I don't like it, then I don't have to come in, I don't have to say a word, I don't have to contribute, I don't have to educate on this forum at all.
Of course.
Okay.
But I'm here today, principally because you're talking about education, and that's my field.
Okay.
And there are things pertaining to education that a lot of people get wrong, and there's also things pertaining to the terra firma in which you stand on that a lot of people get wrong. And when I say a lot of people, I'm not just talking about the layperson, I'm talking about academics. I'm talking about people that influence people in high places of higher learning, and they don't get it. Of course, I'm the wrong colour, so when I do correct them, they're in the headlights. That's because before getting any kind of qualifications that anybody would give a darn about, I was busy doing that stuff myself. And doing that stuff is one thing, and learning tidbits and the hearsays and chasing down the hearsays to find out if the Williams letter is real or not. You know what I mean? You find out that it's not. And then you go to the very source and you tell the people, with the evidence, I don't care because it happens and we see it anyway. I'm like, but here's, okay, you don't want to hear what I say. You don't want to read the book. Here's a video. You know, you you're not kinesthetic, you're like visual kind of things teach you. How about that? I don't care. I'll see you I'm like, there's no talking to you. There's no educating you. You formed your opinion at age 15 and you're going to carry it to age 40, 55 and whatever the case may be. I'm varying. But all of what I'm saying is about education. You know the old saying, once a man, twice a child.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And the common understanding is, Heru, or your co-host, will tell us.
Well, that means that you're going to go back to what you originally was. You will revert back to like
the state of hopelessness that someone needs to wipe your bum.
That's right. We're wearing paddies again, paddy nappies and all that. Because they actually do. The oldest do actually wear paddy pads for real, and they need something to change them again. You know what I mean? When they reach a certain age, once a man, twice a child.
Ago, I took that understanding because I saw what was going on around me, and I said, no. That's a nice way of looking at once a man and twice a child.
Mm.
But once a man and twice a child for me, and once I say it, other people are going to say, well, you're right, you know. Or maybe not. Let's see. You're once a child, and you go into adulthood.
Mm.
You would be surprised, maybe not, that many people who formulate their opinions at age whatever it is, carry that same mentality into adulthood. It is only when they meet somebody of an intelligent or a tragic event that they wise up. Conscience grows, so they're a man, but still a child. But they're a man in body, so they were always a child, although they look physically like a man. So it's only one time that you're innocent, naive. But when you're given the information, as Paulo Freire would say, you are humanized. And once you are humanized, that you understand the game that is being played upon you, that you've got all the cards to see, to say, well, oh, is that how you're treating me? Is that what that meant in that film when I saw it? Is that what children watch The Simpsons and they see the yellow characters and the bonk and beat and the bang and the itchy and scratch, the Tom and Jerry's. But in The Simpsons, there's subtle messages, as in South Park, that go way beyond children. They hit in adults. That adults can sit down and watch it. So, to a degree, to quite a large degree, whole swathes of the populace in the world, especially in the West, are grown children. And they are producing things that adults can produce, like children, like buying properties. But the intelligence quotient, emotional quotient, whatever it is, that makes you human being to understand the serious nature of what you're actually in and the people that control you to act out what you think you're actually doing of your own volition. You are not. You're a repeater. This is why I would argue that in the Bible it mentions, Samuel, or it will take a special person, and that was that the only person around at the time? That was the only humanized person that made a difference to the bulk of the society or community that they were in.
Reese, are you using humanization to mean civilized, or what?
Sorry?
Are you using the term humanize to interchange with the word civilized? I don't mean humanized or civilized.
Humanized is Paulo Freire's Pedagogy of the Oppressed, and it's actually a good book. As much as very important book if you are about education and understanding of what the designers of your life are actually doing. Or it's one of the steps you might need to take to understand a little bit. You know what I mean?
Have you lost your point that you're trying to make?
Sorry?
Have you lost the point that you was trying to make?
Sorry?
Have you lost the point that you was trying to make?
I lost the...
No, have you? I'm just asking because you was going around a bit, and I didn't know if you remembered the point that you're trying to make about it. This thing, you know what I mean? About education.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think I fired off by saying, all right, let's put it this way. Much of what I'm going to say now pertains to education, and I think what a lot of people get lost in the source is they mention the word education and think they know what they're talking about. And it's an easy mistake to make. Easy mistake to make. I put people up in it. I'm actually writing about it right now. They mistake education for schooling.
Okay.
Schooling is not education. There's a complete difference. Like, I don't know, the River Thames, the River Nile. Okay, they're both rivers. But one just feeds London, and the other feeds several countries. It's bigger. It has a vast amount of people depending on it, and it's crucial. That's not even a good analogy, but I think you can see what I'm saying.
So you're saying there's a difference between the two, schooling and education. I was trying to make that point earlier when I said to educate. What is the curriculum? Is the curriculum sufficient? Is it failing our children? It's the schools that are failing them.
Have you got something on your microphone or something?
No, wait, it sounds muffled.
I am so sorry.
It must be. All right, what I'm saying is, that the difference between education and schooling, I was trying to make that earlier when I was saying the curriculum. Is the curriculum sufficient? Is it the curriculum failing?
Specific to schooling.
Or the schools failing? You know what I mean? Can't be both.
The curriculum is specific to schooling. And that's to do with socialization. And it's specific to each country. Each country will design its own curriculum for its own community and for its own survival for nationhood. They are Somalis. They are proud of being Somalis. They want to be Somalis. They want the greatness of Somalia to persist and to be handed down to their progeny. So they'll talk about their rises and falls and so forth. But in terms of the geopolitical landscape, where Western society is the dominant force, it's a huge one to learn about that.
Yeah, because, I don't cut again. Sorry, Reese, because that would be in line with what I'm saying about these little fringe groups and their school Back to Africa program thinking we need our own schools to teach children black history. Now, I'm thinking, black history, is it sufficient for our children when they go out and face the world? In terms of employment, in terms of housing, in terms of the society that they're living? Is that sufficient schooling? Will that equip them with the basic tools to be successful in society?
Well, I'll tell you, and everybody knows it, black history is not important. Never was important, Otherwise, it wouldn't be the history that we know it to be. A forgotten something, something to be ignored. It's even to the point where Black history, your co-host, once said, anti-Semitism is the same as racism. That's all to do with disrespecting Black history. That's not even an understanding or a need to want to understand Black history. That is to say, I don't care. Why should you? And anybody listening to me, I've got the bully pulpit, I've got the crowd, and so therefore, forget about what this caller's saying. It don't mean nothing. And if it don't mean nothing today, it don't mean nothing today. To those who have the bully pulpit, the microphone. It's important only insofar as you learn what it takes to be humanized, i.e., you better be good at maths. Can I ask you a question, Heru?
Yeah, go on.
I'm going to do something that somebody did to the education minister some many years ago. In fact, I'd like to ask a different question, but I've got to ask the same question. What is 8 times 7?
8 times 7? God, you got me there, mate. Bloody hell, mate. This is not... Listen, brethren. That's...
He's asked your question.
I can't work that out there.
Why can't you work that out?
My brain's not on that level right now. I'm just...
Okay.
I'm just
All right.
focusing
I
on
can
what
forgive you. I can forgive you. But I cannot forgive a Minister of Education who's going to say 52. I just cannot forgive him. And I don't know why he was not sacked. How could you be a Minister of Education, but you don't even know your damn times table? You should be grilled. And the problem what we have today in terms of education and schooling, for that matter, schooling has been affected by a fifth column of neo-Marxists.
Hold on. So what's 8 times 7 then, Reese?
56. I mean...
Right. So,
it is.
but that's not the only table you know, innit? I could have asked you any other thing, innit? Would you be able to... Are you good at maths?
Sorry?
Are you good at maths?
I've got an O-level in it.
Are you good at maths, brethren?
I've got an O-level.
O-level, okay. So you're good at you're a mathematician, fine, you know.
That's not a mathematician.
Well, O-level,
No, because I mean there's applied maths and there's a bit other maths.
Right.
And then there is mythological maths.
Right.
And this is something to do with education, because you've got a lot of
This
people,
is what I mean.
professors... Sorry?
The education that I'm talking about is sufficient. The curriculums are based off of educating people to learn maths, right? To do formulas. You know what I'm saying?
No, what's going on today is indoctrination.
Well,
and that's
fine.
a completely different thing.
Is it?
And
So
that's what's problematic.
how is it indoctrination? Explain to me.
Indoctrination.
Show me how it's indoctrination. This education that we're talking about. Give me an example of indoctrination, mate.
Okay. 1, we are all equal.
So where's that? That's not. Doesn't come into. That's more of a what you call that question there? Equality question, an equality rule.
Is that not being pushed in school?
Yeah. Not only in schools, but in everywhere in the workplace, brethren.
Let's stay where we're talking about employment. We're talking about school.
Yeah, but it's the same thing.
Is that not being pushed in school?
No, yes, but it's also pushed in society as a rule. You can't do.
But we're not talking about society. We're not talking about football. We're talking about school.
But you're talking about
education.
Yeah, right? But you're talking about something. Yeah, but you're talking about something that's been pushed as a rule. Equality.
Yeah, I know that.
It's a law, brethren. It's a law.
I'm not arguing. I don't know why we're talking about that. I'm not arguing against you.
Yeah. So I'm saying.
I think you said it in an earlier call, calling on that point, the education. So that's what I'm dealing with.
Right.
I'm keeping within that faculty.
But you say it's brainwashed, mate. You said
when I say
you said it's brainwashed. You said it's brainwashed education. Wait. What did you say?
That's the word I used.
What did you use? What's the word you used?
Yes, it's another word of saying brainwashing.
Right.
But I'm sticking with the words I use.
What word did you use there again?
Indoctrination is the word I use.
Well, same thing. Indoctrination, yeah? Let's look at it. So
and
you're saying...
go into it.
Yeah, you're saying that the education that we're learning is indoctrination. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
So,
it's deep.
Name me a country where there isn't any indoctrination, please.
Name a country where there isn't indoctrination.
Yeah.
I was to say, well, Libya doesn't exist anymore, does it? Or does it?
No.
We know the places there, but the structure that was there, that was quite functioning well, has been put into a basket case.
Yeah, in Libya it's the same thing. 'Cause they indoctrinate you against the West.
Sorry?
China, in Libya, they indoctrinate you against the West. So you don't want to leave in a communist society.
What evidence do you have for that?
Well, because that's what...
There must be a paper that a Libyan professor wrote.
Yes, because there were some footballers. Yeah. There were also in some countries, the footballers and the doctors are educated, indoctrinated against leaving the country and go over to be doctors in the West. There's quite a few countries like that. So when you say there's no indoctrination only in the West, where you alluded to, well,
I didn't say that.
No, I'm saying you're kind of alluding to that.
I didn't say that.
No, you're kind of alluding to that though, because you said this education.
No, I'm trying to stay within the parameters of what you said the call was about to somebody else. Education. And I said there's a difference between education and schooling. People get it confused. And I was going to tell you how it was.
No, you said about indoctrination, though.
Questions which I was obliged to answer.
Yeah, but you did agree that this education is an indoctrination. That's why I asked you to show me where this education... You did say that this education here is an indoctrination. That's why I said I ask you...
No, that's not what I said.
Listen what I'm saying. No, but I ask you, and then I asked you, said, show me, explain to me where it's indoctrination. That's what I said to you.
And I'll do that. I'll do that.
So you agree, it's indoctrination, right?
Education is not indoctrination.
Make your mind up, Reese. Come on, geezer. Make your mind up. Make your mind up. 1 minute you're saying it is, the next minute you're saying it isn't.
No, I never said it was.
I must have misunderstood
you.
Because you said you're going to show me how it is indoctrination.
Are you listening? Just listen to me. Just listen to me, right?
Good.
I would say, and then you pick out what you would like to discuss or you have contentions with. I've not said anything wrong. I am saying... Right? There is a fifth column that has taken hold of education, I would say around the 70s, whereby the neo-Marxists have grabbed hold of the academy. That means education system of this country. I cannot pinpoint it to the max in America, but I think it's around the late 60s, whereby they are pushing ideologies such as social construction.
And that's indoctrinating people, right?
Yes.
So again,
indoctrination.
Well, make your mind up, mate. So this is an indoctrination education then.
Oh. No. All right. Maybe I should explain what. Maybe you want to explain what education is.
No, don't turn it on me, mate. You're the one.
Hold on. Because we don't want to talk past each other and have a quarrel.
No.
We need to educate and bring people with us.
We can't spin it around on me,
hold on, there's two words here. There's two words here that we don't want nobody to get confused with because they are. One is education, what is it? One is indoctrination, what is it? Right. So you, being the host, hosting the show about the subject, tell us.
No, because that is having a cart before the horse, mate. You're the one explaining your notion. Let me finish. You're the one explaining your notion. You told us that this education is an indoctrination. I ask you to please... Yes, you did. I asked you, listen, it's got it recorded, and I said to you, explain in what way. I said to you, explain in what way this education is indoctrination, if you remember correctly, right? And then you began to explain it.
If you allowed me,
so you wasn't explaining it then.
The problem is with you jump too quick.
No,
and you don't let a person explain what it is. So you got half a statement, and you're jumping on it.
Yeah, but what was it you were explaining? What was it? What was it you was explaining? What was it?
Let me explain once again.
What?
And take it from the point where I explain what it is I'm saying.
Explain what?
So there's no confusion.
Okay, go on.
There is a difference between education and indoctrination. It's an easy mistake to make. Lots of professors do it. Okay? Lots of people, lay people do it. It's a bit like ethnicity and nationality. A lot of people do that, and I've explained that on this show before. So, what do we know? What is education? What do we know about education? Well, education, if you want to call it the faculty of knowledge, scientia, where science comes from, but scientia means knowledge, so science is knowledge, was formulated in this country in 1870. This is before Germany was created. This is before Italy was created. They both created in 1871.
You got to lay her knitting here, you know. She's doing a knitting. That's how interested she is.
That's the first time in this country where you had a structured national system of schooling. Because you've got the Industrial Revolution kicking off. You've got huge waves of the agrarian country becoming urbanized. Squalor, factories, and children. Charles Dickens writes about what happens to certain children in a nice way, Oliver Twist. It doesn't mention paedophilia, but you know what's going on. And prostitution, because women have to earn their money. And what do they do best? What do men want? And that's how it works. It's a story of life, but writ large in urban, modern UK. A very tough place to be. At the same time, I am talking about periods. You've got slavery going on elsewhere. A tough place to be. What we do have, we've got intellectuals and public intellectuals who are, ever since the Reformation, and they are free to speak and free to question whether there's a God or not. They release the minds to think about science and release the mind to think about the human being and how humans behave and why do humans do certain things. Then you've got this faculty of education called psychology. But psychology tells you that people are easy to manipulate. And if they're easy to manipulate, what is it that you can do to manipulate large swathes of crowds to hear your voice and take your message and behave a certain way? It's important to understand this enlightenment, reformation, and
I've done a show on that last
I call it the physical trinity that happened in a place called England, which conquered the world. It conquered the world for those three things in a harsh place to be at the time.
Well, have you listened to my...
What we do get from that period of that physical trinity is that we understand what the truth is.
Oh, man. Hey, Reese.
We understand there is truth to human beings and they can be manipulated. We understand that there are rules to science. Just because you've got a big fancy name, millions of dollars, and everybody talks about you, and you've discovered something, not everything out of your mouth is true. That's a talk on, that's a claim on, Robert Aristotle. I've got several Aristotle books right here.
Yeah, but
and yes, he was a big brain, but not everything out of his mouth.
Aristotle was educated he spent 20 years not under Plato. No. Plato didn't know nothing. He couldn't. Plato couldn't teach. Hold on. Yeah, but Plato couldn't teach Aristotle what he didn't know himself. You know what I'm saying?
He got it from Socrates. Whatever.
Socrates. You know what I mean? That's
neither here nor there. The point is
the philosophy.
The point is, I can get Aristotle's Neomachian, I call it Machian.
You got it from Egypt.
Is still a great book. It stands true. If you think about how old that book is.
Yes, because it was,
and you read what he says.
Hold on, please, before you go there. Before you go there, don't attribute it to Aristotle. Aristotle raided when Alexander the Great went down to Egypt in 323 or 525 BC. Hold on, he stole the books. It was said that Alexander gave Aristotle some money to purchase the books, which was a lie, because he raided the Egyptian library and stole all the books.
Okay.
Damn thief. So at the end of the day, don't attribute anything to Aristotle.
Hold on, my friend. Unless you actually... Al Capone did many things. They jack up enough man, but they built their own with the profits of what they got. And you have to deal with the man. Once they stole what they stole, and they had a dream to build something, whether it's of ill-gotten things or whatever, that doesn't, you can't hurt them, you can, but what's the point in saying, I'm going to ignore Bill Gates, I don't like Bill Gates. I know what he's doing right now, but I can't ignore the fact that he built computers and people use them. And therefore, I have to move the fact away that he works he does something every Saturday night, or whatever he does with his wife. Not my business. What he's given to humanity, i.e., I told you earlier on in the Bible, it speaks about certain people, and you think, well, what about everybody else? It's about what significant thing they did at the time. And what significant thing that we know Bill Gates for at this moment. Not everybody knows what he's doing about depopulating Africa. Oh, they don't believe that. Oh, Microsoft, no. Why would he do that? Oh, Bill and Melinda Gates, they're so nice, they're so generous. Oh, they're not hearing it. And so this is a part of the indoctrination that people are in. I was trying to say this, you know. If we didn't go down this road, it was so easier, and you get it.
Yeah, you are.
Can I go back to, because nobody understands, because you put me where I am, it's a two central questions. What is education and what is indoctrination?
All right, Reese.
Now, these are two topics, or the topics, that you really should
stop confusing
be able to
yourself,
discern. Are you talking or are you listening?
Yeah, no, but the thing is, what I'm saying to you is, we've been on a long while now, and we haven't got anywhere.
I
we're
was listening to everybody else, and I'm like, that's a long call.
That's what I'm saying. So we want to give someone a chance to call in again, right? So feel free to call back later on. All right, Reese?
Are you cutting me off?
Yeah, man. No, I'm not cutting you off. All I'm saying is we've been on a while and people are complaining. So let me just move on a little bit. Yeah, you've been on a long time. Let's be fair. Let's be fair.
All right.
Let's be fair.
Can I just
give a little break?
Can I take 30 seconds?
Yeah, go on.
Just say one thing.
Yeah, go on,
right?
go on.
Because I think it really would help.
Yeah, go on.
And I think your guest may be inspired to throw in. Just tell the people, what is the difference between education, indoctrination, and schooling? It will help loads of people to get the picture.
Okay.
So that when I call in and I start to explain and give you documents and page numbers and quotes, and you understand the fullness of where you are, and I'm humanizing everybody listening, regardless of color and boundary. Just break down what is education, what is indoctrination, and what is schooling. They are three separate entities.
Well,
and I'll call in if there's time.
Okay, cool. Actually, no, right. Yeah, but thank you. If I haven't done that already, this is my whole point. Do you remember me saying that in the beginning? What is the education about? What is education? And I'll come again. That is it the curriculum? Is that fault? Or is it the schooling system that fault? Now, because at the end of the day, we didn't look at the statistics around, as Nevaeh pointed out, that they judge it by how many pass rates there is and registry and all them kind of thing there, and they judge it by that. And then if the school's been failing, then they take over by academy or something. And so the schools are failing, I reckon, in terms of teachers' approach, teachers' attitude, and teachers' personal feelings get in the way. You're live on Genesis.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Yeah, man, enough respect.
Yo, I can't lie. First of all, you know what, right? The last caller did go on, my brother. Yeah, no disrespect.
I know what you mean.
He started off by saying that you usually have conversations over the radio that you could have in a coffee shop or something like that. Yeah, and that's where that conversation just went.
Okay.
But anyway, differently from that, I kind of lost the topic. What was it? It was
education.
About the education.
Yeah, that's right.
So that, could it not be a thing where there's just there's so much culture in this country right now, different cultures.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so when it comes to the classroom, it's like it's hard for a teacher to just well, man, how am I trying to? You know what? Your last caller threw me off what I wanted to say.
I know.
Sorry.
I know, man. I know. Not a problem, man.
I'm not listening.
No, I know what you mean. It's a bit long-winded still, but you can always catch your breath if you can remember. You know what we're talking about. If you had a point on whether this is a failing system, you know what I mean? The curriculum, is it the fault of the curriculum? Why they say our schools are failing, or is it?
It's the system.
It's the
system.
Yeah, but the system. What do you have children? You can ask them.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So
are they currently in education now?
Are they? Are they currently in I can't hear you too well.
Are they currently in education now?
Oh, in education, yeah, they are. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, my eldest is, yeah.
So do you feel that the curriculum is satisfactory enough for your son or daughter? You said his son. Yeah. Do you feel that the curriculum is good enough for your son? Do you feel it's doing what it's supposed to be doing?
It used to be once upon a time, but now it's so slack. Like, I mean, they get less homework now. You go into most of them schools nowadays. I understand we need to move with the times, but everything's all about computers now. They're bringing in. All right, for one example, I'm not going to go into it too much, right? But for example, now, wouldn't you like to know that the school that you're sending your children to are more concerned about their safety and their well-being and their futures more than about teaching them about same-sex?
Well, you see, the thing about that is it's very touch and go there, because again,
man.
You know why? You know why? You know why?
Yeah.
Because if it's like Nevaeh says, it's dependent on it's put down on their exam to pass, and if they can't come up with that, they're going to fail in it. So I'll be like hard pressed to really know what to do in that situation, and to say, well, boy, listen, don't matter, take the lesson, just fail. Then I'll be responsible for their way they turn out in life. They're gonna say, well, when Dad told me not to do that, and I ain't got no qualifications because of my cultural opinion.
You know, I'm reading up here. The line is Terry sounds so muffled.
Is it?
I've got
Okay.
the hair, like proper pressed up in my ear. Sorry.
Is it? Hold on.
Maybe there's too many phones around.
Let me see. What, is it not loud enough, or is it not clear enough?
Yeah, it's just it just sounds slightly muffled.
Muffled. How
is that?
Is that any better?
Yeah, I can hear the beautiful lady's voice.
Okay.
Oh, you're so sweet. It's so nice to have positive
I'm a bit
feedback.
sexist, mate. Come on, Sam. What's wrong with my voice, mate? What's wrong with my crafty voice? Is that?
But you know, this is like, I'm not even going to stay long though, right? But that example that I just gave there, right?
Yeah.
In answer to your last caller's question, could that not be used as an example, like that
Indoctrination, yeah.
Yeah, is a form of that is actually bringing that sex education into schools. But my background could be totally against that, but yeah, you're forcing it upon my child, and I don't have no say. Apart from pulling my child from the school, and if I pull my child from the school now, I'm the one going to get in trouble.
So, but don't you think anywhere you put your child is going to be that question? Don't you think that anywhere you put your child, they're going to be faced with that question at some point in their education? I mean, can you have a curriculum?
Well, because of the curriculum, yeah, because of the way the system is set now, yeah, they will be.
That's right. So, are you preparing your child for this? Are you preparing your child for this? Are you going to tell him to be on the periphery of society? You're not going to tell him to go and join in with them, but you're going to tell him, are they going to remain on the periphery, no education, no qualification because of this?
No, but that's where my job as a parent comes in. I have to school my child.
Thank you.
I have to school them and let them know the rights and wrongs. And listen, son, like, this is what they're teaching you. And
right.
You can get through using this method, but this is the correct method.
Right. So you wouldn't pull them out of the exam room because of that.
No, I can't do it.
Child.
Yeah, but so you wouldn't pull them out of that and tell them don't do it, knowing that they're going to fail. You wouldn't contribute to their...
Oh, knowing that they're going to fail.
Yeah,
so, I'm trying to make out what you're saying.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, you tell.
So basically...
Oh, here we go.
Can you hear me clearly? No, I'm saying, he said you sound muffled. I'm on a different mic. Okay. Don't you dare threaten me, young man. Yeah. So basically... how can I even say what you was going to say? How am I supposed to know what you was going to say?
What I said was... he said he couldn't hear me properly because I was trying to say... What I was trying to say is that if you had a chance, if they were to pull out their children out of the education. So
basically, if you pulling your son out of the exam because of the subject, would you pull your son out of that exam, or would you... or let him fail? What would you do? Pull him out, let him fail?
No.
Because you said, remember what you said, it's against your culture. So how would you deal with that?
Yeah, but I couldn't interrupt with his future like that. Because that's me interfering with his future now, and I want the best for him. So I have to give him every opportunity. And you know what? As much as I might be against anything, right? We have to learn to live with these things that's going on around us. You know, and so that's part of living with it, and part of teaching them, hey, son, this is how life is, and this is how we need to get through it. I have to
give a lot of respect for that.
Yeah, because some of the people, because of their cultural underpinnings, who straight away, as you said, that teacher said, as a natural reaction against something like that, which is a natural reaction, which is okay, but then you've got to think about your son's future. How are you going to guard that?
Yeah.
That's it.
But that goes in hand with what I was going to say. When I was saying to change the subject, I didn't mean come off of the subject. I meant like kind of gel it into something else. Yeah. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I don't know about when you was at school, Heru, and I don't know about when you was at school, your kids. But now you have to sign a parent school agreement that you're going to help educate your child. Yeah. So do you feel that as a parent, my personal view is I believe as a parent it's your duty to support your child and help educate your child. Yeah. Do you feel that it's the school's duty, the parent's duty, or both?
To school the child, you said that.
No, you see, like with your children, you said you've got a couple that aren't in school at the moment, yeah?
Yeah.
So when they go to school, you know, when you get all the paperwork, there's an agreement you have to sign that you will work alongside the school and help educate your child.
Yeah, you're damn right, yeah.
But, so you don't believe that it's the school's duty?
No, it's both of us, because that's my child, but you're looking after them while I'm not there.
Okay, you know? But this is what I think the mistake comes in when we muddy the waters between secular education and home education, which cultural education. I think we muddy the waters there. I teach my children about culture and morality and stuff like that.
You teach them.
Yeah.
You have some parents that wake up in the morning, you know, and they see their child for like 2 hours and left the rest of the day to educate the child. The rest of the day, nothing, no person, just a day to educate them.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah, it's really mad, isn't it? But
when
my parents, I don't know if they ever really did educate me about any culture. You know what I mean? Because my dad wasn't an activist. He wasn't a black power this or that, or African this or African that. He was more or less just to get on with life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but remember, there was less things going on in life for us, though.
When?
There was less things that brain was taking in that. Now, they're just corrupted by everything. Social media, what they're seeing on the news, what they're seeing on the road. We've been in their own houses. It's, I don't know how to explain it, but we need to educating. We need to educate it.
But if your daughter comes home to you and say, "Look, Dad, I'm in love with another woman," what would your reaction be?
But what's that got to do with education?
That's what I'm saying. The education will come in now, where if the science education or the physiological education was true, they would have shown. They would have shown there is no biological justification for such an act. You see what I'm saying?
When you talk about,
but then you can't just you have to have that conversation with them. Then you have to just keep it real with them, talk to them, tell them how it is, and because how can something that was normal, how can something that was wrong become all of a sudden normal because of a group of people? It's like this. That's just an example for what you just said there. But no, it's for us.
Scientifically, you can teach your children scientifically, but physiologically, there's no physiological justification for that.
All right, so let me ask a question.
See what I'm saying?
This is it's not directly personal towards you, but scenario. Okay, say you decided you was obviously you're against LGBT. Is it LGBT being taught?
Something like that,
to your son.
Yeah.
So basically, it's not you're against it. Not you said obviously if it's part of the curriculum, obviously you'll allow your son to take place. But it's just an example. Yeah. Say for instance you had a child, you're against it because of your culture. You do not allow your child or children to take part in that part of the education, and then what happens is your child or children, they see certain things, but you're against it, so it's not discussed in your household. Yeah, I'm dead against it. I don't want to hear, because there are parents out there. I don't want to hear about it. Don't come chat to me about that again. Yeah, but then what happens? What happens then? Because if your child has questions, not saying that they are, but if your child sees something on the road or sees something on the telly, and they have questions, they can't come to you, but they can't...
They go to strangers outside.
Because
that's the wrong approach to have as a parent, though, because your child needs to be able to come... I'll tell you what, I got into trouble when I was 14, right? And the trouble I got into, I swear, up to today, I wish I spoke to somebody. Yeah.
Serious.
That's because I didn't feel like I had my father to go to, my mother to go to.
It wasn't an LGBT thing, was it?
No, but I know what the brother's saying. Brother's saying. And I feel the same way. I feel the same way.
So, yeah, man, we needed
to have that little
instructions. Let them know they can talk to us about anything, and we educate them in the right way. Not the way that society's teaching, not the way society's changed your mind to
But can I ask you a question?
The way that we were brought up to teach.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? But do you feel it was because you never had someone to talk to, or because you didn't? Because feeling you don't have somebody to talk to and not having somebody to talk to is because, remember, as a child, you look on things in a different perspective. I
spoke to my uncle. I had one person I could really talk to. That's my uncle. Anything. I could have talked to mum and dad, but I just felt that they wouldn't understand. When I was getting bullied at school, you know, I was getting bullied at school, and
you get bullied?
Yeah, man. And I couldn't tell my mum and my dad.
Why?
I don't know. Well, I told my uncle, and that was it, mate. It was all over, brethren. It was all over.
you hear the spring in his voice. Yeah. So
but hear this right here. Like, all right, I'm gonna go after this one though, because I don't know hold up the line.
Yeah, man. No, cool.
But I put it like this: you said you got into trouble for fighting, right? But suppose your mum or your dad did have that, and they educated you about fighting. It can go this way, it can go that way.
I would fight all day long,
blah blah blah. And told you all that, and they educated about fighting.
Yeah.
And then along with the education, they said, well, you know what, son, as well, if you ever get into any trouble at all, you know, like, I love you to the max, man. Whether you feel in the wrong, you just come and talk to me. Like,
that's right.
That's how you have to talk to them and let them know. Otherwise, they just got astray.
Well, I've got that.
Don't worry, I'm not going to give you licks every time you get in trouble. Come talk to me now.
Yeah. But funny enough, the cultural way was that a stranger could beat you. You're coming from school and you sound a stranger could whip your ass and
in the day,
take you to home, and you get another whipping when you go home. Madness,
but that don't happen no more, though.
You're mad?
You can't do that.
You know why it don't happen now? I think because when, obviously, abuse has always happened from way back when, but I think because it became publicised, people started to become protective over their children. So it was a case of, if I don't beat my child, why are you beating my child? And how do I know you're not some kind of maniac? Do you understand?
Because I hear that. I'm going to slightly disagree, slightly.
So anybody could have come bust your ass and you've been okay with it, yeah?
No, but not. No, but I'm feeling like, I hate going into the whole background thing, but you know what, right? That's why I give it to Africans, because they keep it real to a certain extent. When you see their children and their children misbehaving on the bus, they don't have business to tell everybody, I'm going to beat you if you don't behave yourself. You know what I mean?
So you wouldn't
maybe
do
not
that?
them words.
You wouldn't do that?
Say it again?
So if your child was misbehaving, because I don't give a shit, I
got my own way of dealing with it.
Well, I don't business because I would just like, listen, I don't need to be, because the look
and
is
then
enough.
Someone's going to say,
but you know
what
what?
Are you doing? Say,
one time I
doing?
did smack my son, my last one. We went
People
into WH Smith's, and I said to him, don't touch nothing, you know, because, you know what, you break it, I got to pay for it. So, you know, they got the thing by the till where you put your card. He's touching it, leave it alone. Touching it, leave it alone. Touching it out. Bah! Wow! Let me tell you. And he just looked at me.
You just sound like that kind of woman anyway.
No, but you know what it is? Hear what? I spoke to you once and I spoke to you twice. You have to understand. Respect other people's property.
And that's the way you deliver your discipline, right?
Is that the way I deliver it?
Yeah, your discipline.
Do you know that's the only time that child's ever been smacked? Because you hear what? That one smack at 6 years old made him know, you know what?
Did anyone look at you funny? Did he get screw face in the place?
I did get screw face, and nobody can't tell me nothing because I think my pick me that.
Yeah, but still, that's not everybody's pick.
Hey, I'm gonna go.
All right, then. Yeah.
I'm gonna get over this.
Don't you go around beating your kids now.
Enough respect, Virgin.
Thank you for the call.
Yeah, all the time. Thank you for the call. Bless up.
Bye.
Bless up. All right, take care. Yeah. So when you go that people start look at you like you shouldn't beat your picnic, they look at screw face and a big grass.
Listen, my daughter don't. You see one of my daughters? One of them, she will say, you know what, when you get indoors, you're in trouble,
Yeah.
But you see the other one? You're talking to, come here! And she'll just bust up one time.
If a private inspector was on the bus, or police on the bus, she could get arrested for that.
But you know what? I think it depends, because there's discipline in your child and there's abuse in your child. Do you understand? When you abuse your child, that's when I think the issue comes in.
Yeah.
Because I've seen many, many, many people smack their kids in Lewisham Shopping Centre. Many, many people. But then there was one time when this thing come up that they were looking for a parent because she beat her child. Do you understand? So I think it's the level. One smack ain't gonna do no child. So long as you don't break no bones and black no eyes, it's not gonna be a problem.
So that's another form of education, isn't it? Or reinforcement, it's not education. So to the question was asked whether it's a brainwash or what do you call it? What did Reese call it? Indoctrination.
I don't know. I was knitting.
Yeah, sorry, so much you're interested in it. Indoctrination. Yeah. Of and I think in every society there is an indoctrination. There has to be.
Yeah.
Totalitarianism then.
Do you think?
You see what I'm saying to you?
When it comes to education and children learning, because part of education is behaviour.
Socialisation, I call that, yeah.
So do you feel, because I don't know about when you was at school, when I was at school, they had some, like the slipper, they had different forms of punishment for different years. It kind of got firmer as you went up.
Yeah.
When we reached the last year, we had the cane, and they used to do it, either do it on your knuckles, or they used to do it on the back of your thigh.
Or the palm of your hand.
No, we used to get knuckles, back of the thigh. Yeah. I never got it, because, what? I mean, I wasn't ready for none of that. I was just looking, I used to think, you know what? If I get beat at school, I know I'm getting a second when I reach home. Yeah, because my mum was very strict in regards behaviour. Yeah. And behaviour, obviously you had the odd child that misbehaved. But then when I went to secondary school, what I found was the punishment was 10 minutes in the hallway. Do you understand? So do you feel if they had kept the punishment into secondary school, being allowed to punish your children like that, do you think that children would focus more?
No, teachers would be in danger.
Do you think so?
Yeah, man, teacher would be in danger. Man, look a man back in the day, man just right cross, same time, blap.
No, but remember, you're coming from a different era. Remember, you're coming from a different era. Remember that. When I went to school, alright, for example, in primary school, if a fight broke out, you both get in trouble, you're getting your punishment. In secondary school now, if a fight gets broken out, they call your parents come into school. If you've got sensible parents, they'll sit down and talk. If you haven't, they'll be rocking it themselves as parents. Yeah? So if that discipline, I believe that if the discipline, I don't agree with hitting other people's children, but I think the punishment of going in a room with timeout is a joke. Because that doesn't do nothing.
They don't like isolation.
No, they don't like isolation.
Some schools, you get locked away.
No, well, do you know what? The school,
isolation thing they call it. I forgot what they call it.
My son was telling me that the lady, one of the teachers from where he's going in September, went into his school and pulled out the children that are going to that school and was telling them about the school, the discipline procedures and blah, blah, blah. And he said, Mum, do you know, if you misbehave, they make you wear a high-vis vest, an luminous pink high-vis vest, and you have to litter pick in front of the whole school.
That's all right. I'm all for that,
Yeah, because you know what?
I'm all for that.
Obviously,
humility.
Right. But this is what I'm saying. most schools don't have that kind of
discipline.
punishment.
Punishment.
And because when I was at school, back in the day, you see, I never really. I had one. I didn't even have a fight. I punched the boy over the table. That was it. Nothing. The teacher never said nothing. I never got punished. Not nothing. But I did get excluded for apparently slapping the head teacher in the face.
Yeah, really?
But the thing is, I wasn't at school.
You didn't do it?
I didn't do it. I wasn't there. But because my mum was one of those ones, why would a teacher lie sort of thing, obviously I had to take my punishment. But I loved school. I think I was a very good student. I was never rude and whatever. But I think when you observe how children when you're in school and you're learning and you're disruptive, back in the day they would take you out, allow the rest of the class to settle.
Yeah.
And then they would deal with you, find out obviously what the issue is or blah blah blah. But now, they I think the children more control the class than the teachers control the class. I think this is part of the issue. I think discipline has a lot to do with learning, because if you have self-discipline, then you're going to be more focused, aren't you?
Well, this is the thing.
What are you ruffling for?
No, sorry, I was looking at something notes I made. The thing is with the concentration thing. Then again, it's the education thing. If we're hearing one voice saying that this education is brainwash education, what messages are we really sending to our children? That you're going to be learning something that's no good to you.
Relevant to you,
it's just a load of crap, and they're trying to brainwash you. They're trying to do this to you. You think does that help?
No, of course not.
In situations where you want your child to become something.
Of course.
Every parent wants their children to become something.
Of course.
Do they want them to be in jail because of activism and just, stand up for their so-called rights? You know what I mean? And get dead.
But standing up for your rights doesn't always plant you in prison.
Well, it does. I mean, to me, when you have rights, it's one thing. But when you go out to learn, it's another thing.
Yeah.
I always tell my children, I've said it before, listen, don't go argue. See, when you see a policeman on the road, don't argue your rights with him like it's in their face. Hey, I got a right to this. I got a right. Because you got some little trigger-happy idiot police people out there. Just want the chance just to knock you for six, brethren. And I tell my children, have a bit of strategy. Don't be so highly emotionally strong where you're gonna react and give the police a whopper, thump him in his mouth, or fight him. And get you inside the jail and then sit on you in there and then murder you in there. You know what I mean? Your thing is to get away safely. Have it in your mind. You're not going to stand here more than 5 minutes arguing the toss with these policemen about your rights.
But you know what?
You understand, mate? This is what I'm saying to them. Your thing is to get home safe.
I always said that.
Get away from these murderers, brethren. Don't worry about
murderers.
Murderers, man. When people dead in police custody, brethren.
Yeah, but come on.
Because
that's
why?
A strong word, murderers. Are you talking about for the whole force in itself? Because you said
there have been murders.
I remember, I understand that.
There have been murders in police cells.
If I remember rightly, when I was here, not last week, the week before, we was talking. You said the phrase to one of the callers. You can't talk for everybody. You can't talk for me, brethren.
Yeah.
You can't talk for me. So you can't talk for everybody. So you have to, like you said to the caller, be careful how you put your words out.
Yeah.
Because obviously you have a lot. It does happen. It does happen.
I'm not denying it happens. I'm rationalised.
But then you can't say everybody.
But the main thing it happened.
But
I know what you're saying. I understand. But the main fact it does happen. I'm rationalised and justified in saying it, because at the end of the day, you're not sure if you're going to get away. I mean, you go on social media, you see what they're doing with the people and kneeling on people's face on the floor. Police got there and giving them some proper punch and some proper kicking up.
Videos.
Yeah, some over here as well.
Yeah,
they love to sit on your face or just take them elbow and hold on your jaw corner and strangle you. You can't even breathe, brethren.
I've known quite a few people that have been in altercation with police, and only a few of them have been that severe.
Well, this is what I'm saying. This is when you start to stand up and give them a lip, innit? So
not necessarily. This is what I always say to my kids, and this is what I say to my youngest one. Never admit to something if you didn't do it. Yeah? There's ways to put people in their place without being disrespectful or putting yourself in danger.
Well, to me, I always tell them, your first duty is to get away from them. don't say anything prolonging. You're not losing any face because you don't know what kind of people you're dealing with here. They will take you out, right? So you're not going to just knowing that and cause them to put their hand on you. Right, give them any reason to. So your job is to get away safely. Be smart. Be wise. Don't be all brawn and no brains. No, definitely. I want more. And next thing you know,
the thing is with kids,
man, stand up on your face and I'm counting the brethren.
The thing is with kids,
choking.
Some children, they like to show off.
Yeah.
And this is part of the problem. Some kids will do things and they won't think about it till afterwards, but it's too late.
Too late.
Do you understand? So many children have ended up in jail because they've gone places or done things and they've not really thought about it beforehand. They just thought, oh, you know what, this will be fun. Or in the heat of the moment, they were all hyped and whatever.
That's what I'm saying.
Do you understand? And it's like in schools, for example, back in the day, you would never hear of a teacher. Oh my gosh. I don't know if you saw it. There was a thing on YouTube. The teacher broke the 7-year-old boy's jaw. 7-year-old boy's jaw. Yeah, he said he was trying to discipline the boy. Yeah, he threw the child up against the wall, broke the child's teeth, and broke the child's jaw. They showed a picture of the boy. Yeah. Now there was a time where a teacher would never dare punch a child in the face or throw a child on the wall or kick a child or tell a child about his black self. Or,
I don't know about that,
do you understand? No, but obviously I don't know about in your time because your times it was different. There was a lot. See, the thing is, you guys, your age, you dealt with a lot of things that, and I got a lot of respect for the older generation because they had to deal with a lot when they came to this country. So when the influx came and whatever, the racism and everything, even the interracial dating, like when that started going started stepping out and dating other races and whatever. There's so much different. And the thing is, those experiences molded people into.
But listen to this. I went to Cowley Primary School, and a well-known Cowley, yeah, in Brixton, well-known racist teacher by the name of Mrs. White. Those who know Mrs. White. She drove a little ugly Morris Minor. Just looked like her. And the first day when I came out, I was in the playground and she said, I saw everybody run to the gate and they formed two lines. Just first day, remember brother and he started watching all this paraphernalia going on. What's going on here? As the minute the car drove up, we saw, the minute the car drove up, we saw this witch-like figure come out of the car, and everybody lined up and formed two lines, saluted like that, and we was in the shed at the bottom. Don't know what was going on. She saw this thing come out of the car, looking around, and when she saw us, she said, "You two, come here." I looked around and what's she talking to? I don't know. It's my first day here. Yes, you two, come here. It was a raw.
Was it both of your first day?
Yeah, my brother's first day, Regina. So I said, "Whoa, what's this?" I'm sure it wasn't me she talking to. I was waiting to be introduced to this thing. You get me? You know, somebody's going to come for me or what? I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
You get me? So I have my brother right beside me, clock beside me, stick beside me, Regina. If anything, I'll kill.
Really?
Yeah, I was like that with my brother. Don't mess with my when I'm there. Don't even spit on them. Fly cat and pitch on them.
You don't even know what the woman wanted.
I went and found out. So when I walked over there, I said, "And why didn't you come to the car?" I said,
"Sorry."
Yeah, it's just like I remember it just like it was yesterday. "And why didn't you come to the car?" I goes, "Miss, I want to just come to get upstairs and put your face in the corner."
What?
I didn't know where upstairs was, Reggie. Where's upstairs?
Oh, no.
So we found ourselves facing the corner. My brother's in the one corner, and I'm in the other corner over there.
Was it secondary school or primary school?
Primary school, my first day in Cali. My face was in that corner over there. My brother's face was in that corner over there. And every minute I turn around, "Are you all right? Patrick, you all right?" Yeah. I felt sorry for him because he didn't do nothing. So my face, every morning we had to come and put our face in the corner. Every morning. And then I kick about upon a roof accidentally. One Caucasian boy ran and called the headmistress to say, he went upstairs and told Miss that I kicked the ball on the roof. And she calls, when she see me coming, goes, "Is this the boy?" I said, "Yes." "And why did you kick his ball on the roof?" I said, "Miss, I was only slap him across the face 3 times. And the boy looked at my face, and dry man gave me 3 bucks in my face, brethren. What? I see his face. When he did the first round, I see his face like, blam! I stood there, so, blam! And I said, no, what is? And the third time, blam! And that's where I know that's when I knew what I was in. And then after that, I was bullied. And then my uncle saved me, telling me, delivered me. One! Just give him one! All I wanted just one! And that's how I got my escape. And see, after that, I was giving everybody one brethren. Mash, whack. I was whacking my way through.
Do you think that was a good thing?
No. It was a bad thing because I never know how to come out of it. Every say little thing, whack! That's how we start to whack my way through school, brethren. Teacher and all. Me and them.
And then how did, when you left
No education. No education. I don't even know what exam room looked like.
Really?
Was climbing through the fence, brethren, and my brethren gone. I thought, now I sort of wish, because they used to say, you could knock spots off those lads in English, boy, before he caned me, you know. So what's wrong with you? You could knock spots. And when he said that to me, I really thought, wow.
Did you even know what
do you believe I said to myself, do you really believe I could do that? I thought, whoa. And I never forgot that.
When he said that to you, why did you not like kind of...
I don't know. I wanted to hold on to it because it came before me. I thought, wow. And I loved English, you know what I mean? But it influenced me, my brethren, dickhead. I start batter everything in the school, brethren. And just say, you know what? We ain't coming back here.
So back in the day, yeah? Did they, because when I went to school, I don't ever remember there being a place for kids who were excluded, and that was it. I don't ever remember hearing of anywhere for children to be educated. And when you was at school, was there like centres and things like that?
No centres in your front room, brethren. No centres. You know, you go to school, you learn what you learn. And mind you, what you learn suffice, innit, for the day. You'll be able to go and get a job, innit? And people talk about job is half broken, really. I know these little liberation phrases that they use, half job, J-O-B. And it's these kind of influences that this is what we've got to be careful of. The push and pull effect, that we disregard education. That's why I wanted to find out what is education to us.
Do you know the thing is, they don't educate you to... They don't really educate you to do a job. They don't.
Well, you've got qualifications. You can read and write,
yeah?
This is me. Education is you read and write, and you can
obviously you
know how much change you get back.
But what I mean is,
you know,
what I mean is, they don't actually, they give you your education. They give you maths and English, and because they feel that is what you need to get a job. Mainly maths and English. Now maths, English, and computers.
It's more than that, though. It's more than a job.
No,
obviously orientate yourself in the world.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
But they don't. Your mind in the world.
You notice they never. I have never heard of any teachers educating children to work for themselves.
No.
What I mean, because you think about it. No, it's not just about owning business, because you're trained. Okay, you're trained to do a job.
Yeah.
But the schools don't educate you to that. You got to go to college. You've got to have
a doctor.
A majority of kids, you say to them, well, what do you want to be? Like teenagers, what do you want to do when you leave school? I don't know. What do you want to be? There's only a handful that will say 100%. I know what I want to be. I want to be this.
Right. And a handful, as you say. But I think it's more than a handful. I think it's only the minority that are in that live quick, die young. What do you call it? The live fast, die young mentality.
Oh, you'd be
get
surprised.
what you can. It's not a majority. It's not a majority of the youths, because I've seen the minority of youths. The majority of youths are in big things. Enough of them. That's why I have to say. No, I have to say, sometimes they spoil it. The minority spoils it. People think it's a majority thing, but it's not. It's a minority. Most of the youth out of 1.3 million blacks.
Are we talking positive about the younger generations of Heru? Oh my gosh.
What are you talking about? I've always been positive about
really?
Them. Yes, really.
Oh, wow.
Right. So I'm saying out of the 1.3 million blacks, you'd probably find a smidgen that are doing the things that and I always sort of blame the entrepreneurs.
Maybe we'll have to do a survey one time.
Yeah, the entrepreneurs, the black entrepreneurs who are up there, who are in politics, who are actually succeeding. We have track record of this. In I think the miseducation is coming from the diaspora groups. The education.
So do you think the
is coming
education
from
system
them,
is brainwashing?
Because, no, it's not brainwashing. I don't understand, and they've never explained to me how can it be brainwashing. Do you want them to teach you about Zulu and teach you about when we used to be? Do you expect them to really teach you about that?
What?
You know what I mean? It's kind of I don't know where they're coming from. What do you want the curriculum to do? To teach us about Shaka Zulu, Martin Luther King?
But the curriculum is like
yeah, but it's a madness, brethren.
It's just set.
Yeah, it's set to teach you how to read and write.
Right, but that's where the parent school agreement comes into place.
Eh?
That like the parent school agreement. Obviously, at school now, you have to sign paperwork.
Right.
You have to sign it, and the student has to sign it. To say you agree to abide by their rules, and it's like the housing, isn't it? Like you have to abide by their rules. They have to abide but they don't tell you about their rules. They don't tell you what they've got to do, what they've got to follow. They're just telling you that you have
because
to. Because
in every system or any society you go, you're going to have to be socialized. If you go to Africa and you're in Yoruba land, right? You have to abide by Yoruba rules.
You ate all my sweets.
Who did? You did. You have to abide by Yoruba rules. Yes. If ever you're a historical African, right, of the diaspora,
What's it saying? When
you're gonna have to come under.
Romans
If you can go to African the way you please because you're black and African.
Of course not.
They have. And it's funny how all these black African leaders speak really good English. If you hear them chap on the YouTube there, that guy Mamumba, someone. How come all of the African leaders speak very good English? How come? It's like a slap in the face for the historical African. They're not talking African. When they speak on the world stage, it's posh English them men are speaking. You see them speaking any African language there? And so there's a kind of a misunderstanding between I think the diasporan African and the contemporary African and the historical African who thinks he has a right to land in Africa because he's been taken away. And they get upset when they hear they got to buy land, They don't want to buy no land. As far as they're concerned, it should be given land. And that's the thing they hold back, which is very unfair. And because they should say what they really mean. They should say, when we go back to Africa, we don't expect to pay squat diddly. But they're kind of coward behind that. They hide behind mantics and say, well, okay, then we're going to buy land then. But deep in their heart, they feel that they shouldn't pay squat diddly for land. Furthermore, somebody might be on their land now.
Yeah.
And when they go, they're going to find out and kick them off. So is that the kind of education that we should feed our children, brethren?
Of course not.
But it seems to be the order of the day. When you've been told, don't want to get no paper, You see paper? You see what you have curriculum? It's like a hatred against education. This is what I'm trying to say. This is why I need to work it out from some of these diasporans, especially here in South East London. Peckham, to be exact. To boot. Yeah, it's true. The education system is negatively spoken about.
It's true.
So how are you going to put your children to something they tell you it's no good, it's rubbish, it's brainwash,
I had a conversation
Babylon.
with a lady a couple of weeks ago. And we were talking about schools. We were talking about secondary schools.
Mike, darling.
Sorry. And we were talking about secondary schools, and she was saying, "Oh no, that school's not a good school, and this school's not a good school, and this school is the best school." Well, obviously, she worked at that best school that she claimed to be the best school. And I said to her, "The thing is, what are you going by? Statistics, because the levels are on the pass rates of how many people pass. That doesn't mean that's not a good school."
Do you think it's to do with colour, the pass rates?
No, because a lot of the schools are predominantly one colour.
Yeah, if you depend on what part of London you're from, right?
Well, yeah, depending on what part of London you're from.
If you're from South London,
but the thing is, the school that this lady was saying about, it's a very bad school, the kids don't come out of education. One girl, she come out of there with 12 A levels, and she went on to university, got her diplomas, everything. Yeah. Now she
say the system failed her. I'm not advocate for the system,
No. Do you know what? I can't, you know what? It's hard to just jump and answer because knowing her mother, her mother's one of these parents that work with the child. give the child space.
Give out a number,
Oh, yeah,
0779
you better do that.
542 9449. Now repeat, 0779 542 9449. For calls and texts for the last 20 or so minutes.
Oh, is that time already?
Yeah, 5:36 and counting. It's
Wow, 22
half an
minutes.
hour. Yeah, 22 minutes to go. So if you want to contribute, you can. Feel free, text in, because it's a very emotive subject. Because we want to be clear that we're properly orientated.
But you know what?
In our thinking when it comes down to education. How do we view it? Saturday schools and all that, when you go to Saturday schools.
Having to take extra tuition.
But you're that thing, innit? You're in that thing. Yeah, but having to take extra tuition, and what though? Most of the Saturday schools that we know of now are teaching are black history based. Do they teach black maths in there?
Yeah.
And English in there? Do they really find out what your child's lacking in the mainstream school? So are they just based on teaching you about your African culture?
I was going to take my son to a Saturday school, and it's a couple of days in the evening a week, and they just done English and maths. They strictly done that particular one, done English and maths.
What,
yeah?
black?
It was black. It was like all the tutors that I saw were black.
Yeah, but is it based on an African concept? It's like.
No, the curriculum.
Yeah, no, I don't. This is what I can't understand. I don't know whether, but it's a black mainly. Was not one of those.
The impression I got, it was a black-run group.
Yeah, but was it named? Was it themed? Was its theme African culture and all them kind of thing?
No,
that wasn't its theme.
No, its theme was, does your child need additional help?
All right, now this is what I'm talking about.
Solely focused on English and maths.
This is what I'm talking about.
That's what it was.
You know what I mean?
But the reason why I didn't choose that was because the attitude towards me as a parent, when I was talking and I was asking certain questions. The thing is, a lot of people don't like to be asked questions. I'm not leaving my son somewhere you can't answer them questions because of
whether it could be black like Ace of Spades. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, no, it's not that. Do you know what it is? I have to ensure my child. This is why I say it comes into how the child and the attitude towards learning. Because I have to make sure my child is comfortable and happy and relaxed. Because if they're tense, they're gonna be uncomfortable. And if they're uncomfortable, they're not gonna be happy. And if they're not happy, they definitely are not gonna thrive. So the attitude towards my son just looks at me like the attitude was just, and I just said, you know what, I'll go elsewhere.
But it was black though, black run.
It was black run, but it wasn't because it was black run. Because my son's black, so it wasn't because it was black run. It was just that attitude. The attitude was just no. I don't talk to my kids like that. I don't talk to adults like that. And you're going to talk to me like that. I wasn't disrespectful or rude. I educated my son by saying, I'm really sorry, but I really feel that this isn't appropriate for my child. I don't like your attitude, but it's okay. I'll go somewhere else. And he was like, Mummy, how come you didn't cuss them off?
Who said that?
That's what my son said.
See
when it comes to my children, I'm a lion, you know. I'm telling you. Forget lioness. I'm a lion. That's my baby. That's my prince.
You'll die
you understand?
for them, yeah?
Of course, because you know what it is. You know when you have a child who enjoys learning. I teach my kids and anybody else's kids around me. See, education is the key to open the door.
Yeah, but what kind of education? Cultural, secular?
Education in general.
What?
Okay.
It can't be.
Well, of course it can, because you have a child. They're not sure what they want to do. They decide they want to be a nurse, say. Yeah? So, obviously, that's intense. The course is very, very intense, very, very hard. You've got a lot of work. You cover a lot of subjects, yeah? So, if you're not taught from young, how to deal with education and to learn, to open your mind and learn different things,
but that's not going to be the curriculum of the Saturday schools.
Well, once you leave school, there is no curriculum, is there?
Well, for that, what you just said.
Yeah.
This is how you got to bring your child up by telling them these things.
Yeah.
That they have to open their minds.
Yeah.
But some of
it may not be okay.
But
for example, it may not be what you want them to teach your child.
Opening their mind?
No, but but they're just teaching them maths, isn't it? It's maths.
The black cultural schools teach maths.
No. I thought you were talking about the Saturday schools. Do you know what? You don't. Well, I wasn't when I went to that place. I wasn't aware that it was black owned, but it didn't. I didn't care what colour owned it because it was about education.
As far as
That's
you're
what
concerned,
I was. Yeah, I was there for education, nothing more. Do you understand?
What, education in culture?
No, education in maths and
Secular,
English.
yeah, secular, yeah.
That's it.
Okay,
That's it.
So if a school does to talk blackness, you wouldn't have brought your child there.
No, because like I can educate my child myself, and this is the problem. Too many parents aren't prepared to sit down and educate. It's like sexual education, for example. When they were talking about it in school, he was 9. 9? No, sorry. It's my duty as a parent to talk to my child about those things.
Yes.
And I don't feel he's ready yet.
Yes.
When I feel he's ready, I will tell him. I will explain him. I went out, I bought books and everything, which obviously I'm a female. And like you said to the caller, it's sometimes you don't want to talk to people. You feel as a kid, you know, and my son's quiet, so I went out and I bought books. I bought books that tell you about the human body, male and female. And then, is there anything you want to know? You've got 2 older brothers, 2 older sisters. My son can tell you about menstrual cycle, everything.
Aye, but what about if they come to you? Say your son was doing bad in mainstream school.
Yeah.
You send him to a Saturday school.
Yeah.
You come and say, Mommy, did you know that Marcus Garvey had 3 million? So would you feel? Did you know that Malcolm X was a leader? Mommy, did you know? What would you say?
I would say, wow, thank you for telling me.
Yeah.
When my son was 5, he came home from
but if he couldn't do any maths in mainstream school, and the reason was you sent him to the Saturday school to help them improve his maths, and he come home talking about...
if he had no inkling about the maths?
No, if he had problems in the mainstream
If he had
school,
problems in
and
mainstream
you thought
school...
by sending him to... Say he had problems with maths in the mainstream.
Yeah.
You thought then, let me send him to a Saturday school.
Yeah.
What would you expect that Saturday school to teach him, brethren?
Excuse me. Well, if I sent him to the Saturday school to follow the curriculum, then obviously I wouldn't be happy that he's not learning the curriculum, because you need English and maths.
Even though he's telling you about Marcus Garvey and...
I can tell you about Marcus Garvey.
and Nanny and all them.
I can tell you about Marcus Garvey. The thing is, what is going to be more help to you at that present time?
What I'm trying to establish.
At that stage in life.
This is what I'm trying to
Do you
establish.
understand? I mean, you can learn about black history at any time.
This is what I'm trying to establish.
It's great. For an example, when I sent him to school, he was 5, and he came back and he started talking to me about tooth decay. I said, what? Tooth decay. I said, well, you know about tooth decay. He went in deep. He could tell me the different layers of the teeth and everything.
Is that the same one that passed?
The 11th, yeah.
You see?
So I said,
wow.
Who tell you that? He said, the teacher. I said, what do I tell you that for? Is something wrong with your teeth? You see the dentist? He said, no, Mum. They just taught us about teeth. They taught us about hygiene.
Some people would prefer to talk about Africa. Told about Africa.
To be quite honest, out of the 2, at 5 years old, I would rather he knew about tooth decay, because then it would help him in looking after himself.
Problems that in Africa. But this is what I'm trying to say. People muddy the waters a lot, and they over egg the pudding, overshoot the runway, overkill, and the children grow up ignorant. Because why? Instead of learning a skill or a plumber, anything like that, they'd rather spend time teaching them about culture. Yeah. Which I think is unfair. Because you can't.
Or black people don't do this.
This is how I'm thinking that
that's not politically correct.
They're trying to burn you, they're trying to rob you, so you put this kind of you scramble their hypothalamus. Yeah. Why would you scramble your children's hypothalamus with fear? And say you're liberating them. Don't let them be.
But is it liberation though? It's
enemies. All right, we know we got enemies, but when we hear them talking in terms of enemies, and we have white man as our enemy.
Listen, your enemies. When
you what I try to say?
At the front door and somebody comes to trouble you, that's your enemy.
This is what. So you teach your children that, wouldn't you?
You know what? I just teach my children. Obviously, they're adults now. They can fend for themselves. Yeah. But from the eldest one to the youngest one, I've always told them this. When you see a situation happening, don't jump to any conclusions. You don't know. You need to know the before, before you say a word. Because if you walk into the middle of something or something approaches you, you've got to know how to deal with it.
And you teach them how to conduct themselves. My mum,
definitely.
My parents just teach us how to conduct ourselves.
Definitely.
And everywhere we go, they say, "We children have manners here." You got some real,
you have to,
rowdy, disrespectful teacher. A big man, you know, look at me like, "Hey, big man," like he's got no respect for you. Big man, man's got ends.
Yeah.
Man can get 50 man on the ends. Man,
yeah.
What kind of thing is that?
Yeah, listen, my son, my middle son, he's 20, coming up 21. Well, he's 21 actually. And basically, my youngest son was on the computer, and one of his school friends said something extremely inappropriate. So my son, as big as he is, he come downstairs and said, "Mum, you know what so-and-so just said to me?"
Ooh.
Oh, the boy on the computer. So I said, "No, what?" When he told me, he said, "What?" But I looked at him and I laughed because he can. No, I just went, "What?" I can't say it on the air. So he went. But I looked at him and I started laughing. And he said, "You're not funny." But he's a man, isn't it? You have to learn to deal with. But because of the child's age, he didn't want to respond. But he was angry.
Your child got manners.
And then he went into his room. He closed the door. So the following day, he's on the computer. He come downstairs. "Yo, Mum, you need to talk to him. He can't have that person as his friend. It's not appropriate." So then I called the younger one down and I said to him, "What did so-and-so say to your brother?" So he told me. And he's looking at me, fierce long, you know. I said, "Can you tell me something, please, son?" He said, "Yes, Mum." "How do you feel when your friend is saying those inappropriate things to your brother? Do you like it?" He said, "No, Mum, it don't feel good." I said, "So why do you not say something to him?" He said, "Mum, I'd rather keep my mouth shut than say something and trouble comes out of it." Then the following day, same thing again. This time, my son, because my little one, he puts video camera on. And my house is really hot, so they all walk about in their pyjama bottoms or their boxer shorts. This time, my 21-year-old ain't walking around in he's got vest on, he's like, and I was like, "What's wrong with you? It's hot up," because where you got the TVs on, the heat. He said, "Nah, Mum, something's wrong with that little boy." He said, "That little boy's either gay or something's going on in that boy's family." So I said to my little one, I said, "You see when you, in the morning, see when you go to school, beg you, tell your friend, don't say nothing like that to your brother again, because we don't like it. It's not appropriate. It's not acceptable. And if he does it again, I'm going to go into school, I'm going to call in his parents, and I'm going to call a meeting." I said, "Because that is disgusting. That's not right." So when he went to school, he said he told the boy, my mum said, "Stop it, she doesn't like it, it's not appropriate, or she's going to call in your parents." From that, boy doesn't talk to my son again.
But we've come a long way, though, as parents, when we're dealing with school issues, because normally we would have just bowled in there. I mean, remember when my son was young?
Oh,
I never used to wait, no appointment, or nothing like that. Before they start putting locks on the gate, I used to just bowl in there, Virgin, when my youth was in trouble with this guy trying to beat him up, bigger than him, and he was like a proper bully at the school. And I had enough. I said, "Look, son keep complaining, so let me go down there." So I went there one afternoon, I had dark glass on, everything. And I go in there, and the whole school was following me. Like, I had the whole school following me. "Oh, so-and-so dad's coming to..." Because I was glad, because he needs to be taken care of. So the message got back to this wild boy, a bad so-called bad man. So at that time the headmaster come and take me in the office, caught me with his whole crew behind me, looking for this geezer. I had enough problem, you know what I mean? So when I couldn't find him, man directed me to the office. "Oh, come this way, sir." I said, "Yeah, but listen, I don't send my son to school for man bullying me now. I tell the truth, you know, sir. I want to see this brother. No, I want to see him. No." So I got me in there.
But that was a child.
No, it doesn't matter. It's a brother to me, as far as I was concerned. A big man could come bully my child. I tried to beat up my picnic and send him back.
And what was you going to do as a child?
I don't give. Listen. So when I was in
no, you should change this.
When I was in the classroom, right? I was in the office. All of a sudden, this door just flung open, you know. This boy, "Oh yeah, sir, here's somebody looking for me." Sir, that's me behind the door. When you fling the door, man behind the door, you know. So this brother's bowled in, you know, without knocking, you know.
What?
"Oh, I hear somebody looking for me." I'm just take the door and go, so blam, shut it. "Yeah, me. Let me tell you something. And the next time you put your hand on my son," I said to him, "you could have called God. Go and tell God to come and take you out here. You can call, because I told him what I would do to him. Pint in his face, because I took my glasses off. So looking at me eye. Looking at me eye. I tell you again, anytime you think you're bad, you put your hand on my son again, I'm not even going to ask no permission. I'm going to come in, I'm telling him what we're going to do. And from that time, the teacher let me do it, because he needed to be pulled down a peg or two. The man didn't even knock the door, brethren. Just fling the door open. Proper bad redneck,
Oh, God.
I'm just shut the door behind him neatly. Blam! Say, yes, me. I'm say, looking at me, yeah. I'm take off my glasses. Say, anytime you touch my son again, I'm not going to. It's the last one, and if you think you're bad, I'll come back here. You could call God. You're not going to like the consequence. But that's supposed to become a long way now. We don't
definitely
do
come a long way,
things like
because
that
if
anymore.
my child come home from school,
the whole meetings. But
you see, if my child came home from school and told me that a parent threatened them, and the teachers are there, and the parents, no, it's not happening. Yeah, not happening. That time I'm going ghetto. It's not happening, because you know what?
We don't beat teachers anymore, do we?
Huh?
We don't beat
no,
teachers
but this
anymore,
is the way I look at it.
I think it's good.
It is good, but you know the way I look at it is, when it comes to children, they're children. Adults are adult. Go to adult. That's the way I look at it.
Yes, because this is what I'm saying. Adulthood. So, as far as I'm concerned, the education that we're supposed to have, or our children having, is to equip them for society. It's to equip them so that they're able to partake successfully in society, and in order for them to achieve, because society is there whether you like it or not, whether it's in this country or not, whether it's in Africa, whether it's in New Zealand, it's a universal law, isn't it? You have to be able to adapt the right character and personality if you want to succeed, that is. If you don't want to go through the penal system, where you have to go and live fast and die young, this is the thing. It's not a crime if you educate your children to think that the system is against them. How the hell can they be successful? A lot of these little fringe groups like to teach children that the system is against, and that's a no-no. Straight off. How can you expect your child to be successful if you're educating them that the system is a no-no and it's against you and it's never for you, and you cannot reap anything from it, and that is the wrong thing, I believe, in order to progress, be successful, be happy. And this is what we need to tell our children, man. Stop using our children to support our own ideologies and our own personal angst that we may have with society and stuff like that. We transfer it to our children. That's the worst kind of education that you can do. Make them wise.
Yeah, a lot of people use their children to do what they wanted to
personalize,
do because they couldn't do it. So they think their children's got to do it. You just got to let your kids be who they are.
Exactly. And they know the system is a system through any part of the world you go. Train them to deal with systems. Otherwise, they're going to be stuck here.
Oh, definitely.
Stuck in the ghetto, just running around selling drugs, brethren.
Definitely.
If you can be on a world stage, you have the right character. Don't scramble their hypothalamus to make them go into defense mode, or their their hypothalamus is in such a way that they have to bring up the defense mode and live on their nerves all the time, live on their they don't trust nobody, isolated.
How you deal with your child is how your child will deal with the world.
Exactly. And there's some good educated children that they've been miseducated, not by the system, not by the system, but by some of the little fringe groups all over the place that try to rabble-rouse you and browbeat you into, bully you into accepting ethnicity as a way of life. It's not the be-all and end-all, brethren.
No,
Come
it's
on.
not. And that doesn't come up in my house at all.
Well,
if it comes up as a topic of conversation, we'll have a conversation, but it's not something that will just get thrown in.
Yeah, because you'd rather talk, judging by the way your children are based.
We'd rather talk about something more constructive.
That's right.
If you talk positive, then
that's right.
Your child will become positive. Not just a child, you can also become even more positive.
And owing to the success that we had here in the country, the history, the black issue, not only about Africa. black history is about the success that we had here before slavery, brethren.
Definitely.
Long before slavery, we were lords of this manor. I keep telling a lot of people, we were lords of this manor. We contributed to Western society's civilization. See what I told Reese about Plato and Aristotle? Who do you think Aristotle learned from?
Yeah.
It wasn't from Plato.
Yeah.
Plato didn't know nothing. Well, no, Socrates couldn't teach Plato what Aristotle didn't know.
Yeah.
Aristotle spent 20 years under the Egyptian priests, and they taught him science. You understand? And he got back and he used what the African priest, taught him.
Yeah.
You understand? So there is that aspect of when our children know that they come from a people that actually invented that damn discipline. That's the way you educate them to have more respect, self-respect. Not because you're black and African, but because
it's every not the what's the thing when somebody does something and they get a good level, it's the melanin. Melanin don't sit down and hold the pen, you know. You are holding the pen.
Melanin can't read all right. So this is the thing, and we have some melanin people that are right pervs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right pervs. Yeah. I've seen them, black as the ace of spade, but they're still pervs. Melanin doesn't stop you from being perverted. If you know how to use your pineal gland and use the melanin, it's a different story. But if you're in a mystery system thing, we're coming near the end of the show now, 5:56 and counting. If you know the thing, educate your child properly. Don't scramble their hypothalamus and put them into defense mode. Fear. Don't drive fear. You say you're not homophobic, but you're telling them, when they're talking about that, you say, oh my God, no. See, you are fearing it. You're fearing that your child might be infected by it or something.
You can have a view, but you don't say nothing. Don't make your child see you react.
That's right.
Do you know what I mean?
He
When
learns
they don't
something.
see that negative reaction, then
they ask you, why didn't you, that makes them inquisitive. But see your response, every little, everything is a responsive. Hey, the Babylon is not, the dirty boy, let me see. Hey, you see. You're transferring the generational trauma.
Definitely.
To your offspring.
Definitely.
You don't want that. I thought you want to get rid of trauma, don't you?
And I believe pride, this so black pride as they put it, it comes in. I've always taught my children, be proud of who you are. Yeah, you are a strong black male. It's not about the rest of the nation.
Don't wear life on the sleeve.
Because the problem is, I hear a lot of women saying, "Yes, I'm one of them strong black women. I'm a true queen." What makes you a true queen? Do you know what a true queen is?
Are you in charge of your emotions? Right. Are you in charge of your faculties?
Do you respect yourself? Do you love yourself? Do you love your natural beauty?
Have you got your animal under control? Your Jekyll and Hyde in all of us. You know what I mean? Being African doesn't necessarily mean you've got that under control. Yeah,
I got into a situation some years back, and I never forget it. It was a tall white guy. Basically, the ice cream man had grabbed my son's friend and hit his head on the ice cream man. I don't know what they done because I wasn't there, but I'm a person I like to know the before. And basically, I went over and I was talking to the man. I said, "You can't do it." And the man spat at me. So I turned to him and I got vexed now. And I said to him, "What do you think you're doing? Like, don't mess with me, because you're looking for trouble." So he said, coming over here doing the black thing. Standing up for yourself is doing the black thing. Do you understand? See, when he told me that, I was like a bull in a pen. What do you mean, what's the black thing? Do you understand? Listen to how I talk.
Well, we're going to the last minute now, and we're going to say our goodbyes. I hope it's been informative for you, as it's been for me, and Anaya.
Anaya, you forget already?
Naya.
It's okay.
Naya. I didn't well in Nevaeh goes heaven backwards.
It's all right.
Go on.
Get it right every now and then. Anyway, people, have a blessed evening. Today is Sunday, start to the week. Hope everybody has a good week. And remember, education starts at home. That's right. And of course, it's to how we educate and encourage our children. Don't scramble their hypothalamus with fear and degradation and doom and gloom just because you see it as doom and gloom. Then your whole generation is condemned, to pending doom. Definitely. So we give joy and happiness and say you are able to achieve because we have track record. We have track record of achievements here and everywhere in the world. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning at the Heru show, hopefully Ra willing, and 10 o'clock in the morning or maybe 11, around about them times. Okay. I was going to say. Yeah, so anyway, the one thing left for me to say is what I always say, and that is, this is Heru saying I am out. And be yourself.